Dude, I'm a little drunk. I'm a little
here
drunky.
Oh,
I'm a
shit,
little
we're live.
drunky
I
poo.
accidentally just hit go.
Oh, we're live. All right.
We're live.
What's up?
Hello, everybody.
Coming to you live. I'm gonna
open
sneeze.
the door 'cause it's fucking hot right
I'm gonna sneeze. Ah, fuck. Sneezed.
Let's get it popping.
Okay, we're live.
It is already hot in here.
Yep. Kyle, you got your fan on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fan's on.
Fan is ready to go.
All right. Cody and Smitty said they're gonna interact with the Twitch. You're on the Twitch. You're on the Twitch chat.
Pulled up.
Donnelly's on the keys. I'm on nothing but being drunk and checking my bets degenerately. I'm looking at a perfect day right now, which would be absolutely fucking stellar.
It's just kind of a spontaneous live.
It's okay.
Here.
All right.
Are you live? Are we live?
Yeah,
That's
we're
the real
live. I hit
question.
the button on accident. But
Okay.
We are live.
So it's been a minute.
Gears survived the coronavirus.
Yep. I got COVID. So we were delayed by what was honestly, I think it's been almost a month.
Just about.
But
Close to it.
yeah, because I got
We're here election times.
so I got COVID. Yeah, it was the you're right. It was when they called the election. So I got COVID, but I was quarantining under the presumption I had it, but I didn't get tested until about a week and a half in, and then I had another 2 weeks of quarantine. So yeah, it's been like 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks since the last one. Got it on some boomer shit. Had some boomer people introduce it to me. I'm not actually sure which of the two gave it to me, but yeah, I was fine generally speaking. Congestion and nasty headache for the symptoms were like 10, 12 days. But good now, survived it at least for the time being until it comes back to kill me later. But yeah, that's basically why we haven't been here. What's new since last time? We all have mics.
Yes.
Yeah, thank God.
So
Hopefully this audio works out, right?
We changed to the three mic system here, which is good.
Audio should be pretty decent. Frankly, all three of these mics are made to record instruments, but our beautiful voices are instruments. So
Yeah.
Duh.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine for the time being.
Yeah.
We rebranded. We were still not named last time, so we are officially, it seems officially, but who knows, through the cellar door.
And I'm officially here.
And Kyle is officially in the unit.
Official cellar dweller.
Yes. So through the cellar door. Do we want to talk about the name for a moment?
That's
all right.
Y'all.
Okay, so I came up with the name, and the reason that I came up with the name, there's a couple of things. So first and foremost, the easy one, we are filming in Donnelly's studio, which is in Donnelly's basement. And
which is a synonym for a cellar.
a basement and a cellar are the same thing. So why did we name it that? Specifically, why did we use the phrase through the cellar door? Well, cellar door is considered to be one of the most eucophonous sayings in the English language.
It's a
So
good word.
yeah, so
Can you spell that?
it's EUCOPHANEOUS. Eucophonous.
Eucophonous.
Starts with an
I don't
E,
even know
EU,
what that
but
means.
I
it's
like
the
that.
opposite of cacophonous. So it sounds really good regardless of the meaning of the word. So it's been used kind of throughout literary history. Some people have tried to alter it. So there's been characters that have been named Celador. There's been, I think it was Edgar Allan Poe that tried to kind of alter it to be Forevermore, Nevermore. Yeah, so it's a common theme, and I thought that it sounded good, and it also tied into this. And so the last thing, and this is kind of, I guess, the loose reason why we named it this, or why I thought it was a good name, in that movie, Donnie Darko, the cellar door is like a time portal. And so you go through, and I thought, since we're going to be putting these on YouTube, if you go to the YouTube channel, we're talking about current events. We're going kind of through what's happened in the last week, or in this case, last month. And it's going to be about, that YouTube channel will kind of be a look back at the history of the days that we're talking. So I thought that was kind of a unique reason to call it that too. So yeah, through the cellar door, we're working on some artwork for the logo.
He'll come
Yeah,
soon, don't worry.
we're So we're gonna go through the whole rebranding thing. We're kind of taking it a step at a time. But first things first, we had to actually record another podcast under that name.
This is true.
So here we are.
Kyle, I just want to make sure. Are you AOX Dramatic?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That is I.
Okay.
I'm gonna add you as a mod to
For
the
sure.
stream.
Add me up.
And you'll be able to get a different view over there on your
Cool.
iPad if you'd like it.
Yeah.
That's a space bar.
So what are we talking about today, gentlemen? I have a couple topics I'd like to go over.
Yeah. So we've kind of been compiling talking points across the last. It's been like 2 weeks really that we've been adding stuff that we want to talk about, and we'll just kind of run through and let this thing flow. I think we talked about it last time. I don't think we're going to do it today, but last time we talked about maybe doing like a certain amount of time and then like cutting it off as far as what will go on YouTube. And then after that, it'll become like real loose with the format for Twitch,
Fair.
but we'll stay live. I think we'll see if we don't have as much time today. But that will kind of be the plan moving forward as far as, we'll have like a structured maybe hour and a half, and then we'll let it kind of become its own thing after that for Twitch, anybody that's viewing on Twitch.
Sure.
To be fair, we don't particularly have a full structured anything at all.
That's
Not
also
really.
that's also true. Yeah.
We've all.
Fly by the seat of the pants every time.
Yeah.
It feels like to me, like ever since, I want to say ever since like the middle of November, like the week before Thanksgiving, like everything has just been dragging ass. Like,
Pretty much.
is that fair? Like,
Yeah.
I've just been on lazy mode myself. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing everything I should be doing. I've actually been back at the gym. Like, I'm working hard on music, but like day to day, it feels like things are just dragging ass.
Moving in
like,
slow motion.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I mean, obviously the weather isn't part of that. The weather's been goofy
The
as
weather
hell here.
helps.
Like,
To me, I was actually talking about this. So, was in quarantine, didn't go anywhere, was like living in the basement. So there was the weather didn't affect me. There wasn't any sort of like day-to-day grind of going to work. It was like wake up, stay in the same place, go to sleep. But now that I've been out of quarantine. It's been like a week, and basically since Thanksgiving, a little after Thanksgiving. There's nothing to do.
there is nothing.
So even though like
Everything's closed.
and the stuff, so like
Everything's
in our
closed.
area of the world,
Yeah, here.
like in our little slice of life, all the non-corporate, like non-franchise, like bars and restaurants are staying open
Right.
because they've just decided like they'd rather risk losing their license than risk like not having the money, the income.
Yes.
So like you can go to the bar, you can go to a restaurant, but like there's no movies.
Nope.
There's no there's not like people don't want to go do like there's no Top Golf. There's no
Top
bowling.
closed.
Like Top Golf's open, but you can't like you have to I don't know, like who wants to go and fucking golf with the mask on and like it's like
No one.
now
would.
nobody wants to go do stuff.
I got a question for you. So,
What's up?
pertaining to COVID, now that you've had it, gone through it, gotten over it, have your views changed on COVID-19 and what the United States and the rest of the world is going through? Because when I've not had it, Donnelly, you've not had it.
Not actually.
No, like not confirmed positive test or anything. I've taken a test. I've tested negative.
I've never been tested,
Okay, and
but I've
do
also
you have
not
a
been sick.
do you have a different outlook on it, Geers?
So no, not really, but
Okay.
here's the thing. To an extent, my outlook on this was what it is now, and that like we know that the broad majority of people that are our age are gonna be fine. It's like 99.9% of people, right? But the issue is like we're seeing it is getting worse, and so I think some of the articles that we have are like talking about that, where it's like we're approaching like full-blown calamity when it comes to like hospitalization rates,
Right.
supply chain disruptions. I mean, it's not getting better, and having it and like not having a very serious. So I had the flu last year. I had influenza A, and that was personally on a personal level that was much worse for me because I felt way worse.
Right.
But I also understand that like the way that this thing works is it impacts people who are immunocompromised and older much, much harder, and I'm not either of those things. So like I didn't have anything. I was never, even from the beginning, I was never in a position where it was like I'm not worried about getting it. I'm worried about getting it and giving it to somebody else that is in one of those positions, right? So guy at work, older dude, probably would be in that like section of the population that is at risk.
Okay.
Worried about having it, going to work, giving it to him having the issues I'm talking about.
Exactly.
I mean, even the people I live with that are, so Taylor's mom, she had it. It kicked her ass pretty good. I mean, and that was just general. Like that's still, she was probably in like that upper half of symptoms where she was like actually sick. She wasn't hospitalized or anything like that. But
that was what I was gonna ask. Was she ever in danger?
I don't.
Would you say
I don't think
her
so.
actual well-being was ever in danger?
I don't. No, I don't think so. But she lost her taste and smell. She like the fatigue and body aches were real nasty for her. So.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it's just we've gotta, and it's only gonna keep getting worse. Like I just read, I don't know if I sent the article. I know I sent a couple of things, but like they were just starting to talk about, like they're gonna have to start triaging in some areas for their hospitals and like deciding who they think is worth treating, and who is too far gone.
Right. We got a question here in the chat. Is it survival of the fittest? What up, Smitty?
No. It isn't survival of the fittest because that isn't a thing anymore.
Okay.
So I think survival of the fittest, we've left the food chain.
Right.
Like we are no longer.
We're above the food chain.
Yes.
We're not even at the top necessarily anymore. We're off of
we're
it.
off of
we're
it.
over it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so to say, is it survival of the fittest, you have to be, so like, if we weren't in a global society, right? Like if this was 2,000 years ago, you would say it is survival of the fittest. But 2,000 years ago, there wasn't a global society to move a pandemic around. So if sickness hit like an area, it would wipe that area out,
Right.
but it wouldn't cause the type of things that we've seen all across the country and all across the world.
How's the audio, Smitty?
I don't think survival of the fittest is a thing anymore. I mean, we've obviously done a lot to avoid that being the case, right? Like, you can have disabilities and live in a semi-normal life. You can make mistakes and kind of overcome those things, right?
Right.
And to an extent, I mean, I think there's still a little bit of Darwin, like the Darwin Award winners, right? So if you are sick, if you are immunocompromised, if you are old, if you are one of those people that like I should be avoiding this thing and you aren't, then it's your own damn fault to an extent. But I don't know if it's survival of the fittest because like you hear people compare to stuff, right? And it's like, well, more people, well, I don't think this is true. I don't think it's true anymore, but I remember at the beginning of this, it was like more people die from car accidents every year. Should we just stop driving cars?
Right.
And he goes, well, no, because you can choose to get in a car any time, every day.
You can't choose whether
you get this or not. Right. Yeah, it's completely random. I didn't pick to have it. I didn't pick for the people that I like are in my day-to-day life to get it and bring it to me. Right. So it's not a survival of the fittest because you're not doing anything that requires you to survive. It's just dumb luck to an extent. I mean.
All right. Well, let me segue into this. Donnelly and I had a really good chat going into this last night, and I honestly want to get your hot takes on this.
Okay.
So
it was Friday for the record, but regardless.
You guys
right,
recap it.
Friday.
I need 2 seconds to blow my nose.
All right, for sure. So Donnelly, we got into the talks of what's being done with COVID, and not necessarily only with COVID, but with the U.S. Mainly, this is going to be with the U.S., not necessarily with the worldwide, because obviously different countries are going to implement their own strategies to deal with all this. But touching on what's going on with COVID and how everyone is definitely, I want to say everyone, but a lot of people are probably strapped for cash right now. A lot of people are unemployed. It's rough times out here.
Yes.
So you're talking UBI.
I was indeed talking UBI.
We're talking UBI Gears. So for the people that don't know, that is Universal Basic Income. A lot of people are talking about what is it, like $1,000 a month, or what is it?
It depends.
It depends. All right. But generally, it's going to be a sum of money a month.
Yang ran on $1,000 a month.
Right.
I believe.
So, how do you feel about that?
Somebody's calling you.
I definitely had a lot of feelings towards it. I did some research today, looking into multiple people's opinions on it, and I just want to know kind of where do you think that would fit into the U.S. culture?
So
going towards helping poverty, helping people that are down and out type, and this is definitely obviously it's really a left versus right conversation right now. UBI,
which is interesting. So here's my thing. I think that it is. I personally think it's an inevitability of where we're heading, and this is why.
Think it's inevitable?
If we want to stay civilized as the United States of America, yes, and this is why.
Okay.
The rate of industrialization and the rate of technology increase is going to make so many jobs obsolete that there will not be the capacity to employ the amount of people that we need to stay economically viable.
So you think we're going to go so far to the point where everything is automated?
Yeah.
We're not going to need the workforce that we have now?
Not even close.
But I have a counter argument to that, which would be, if that's the case, then just keep people employed. Don't let it go as far to automation.
But
that would put
it
people
won't.
out of work.
But that's the typical Republican viewpoint of keeping things in the past and not progressing.
Not necessarily keeping things in the past, but
Sure
just keeping.
If you have a technology to eliminate jobs, so people literally don't have to slave for 8 hours a day,
right?
And a robot could do it. If the argument is, well, that person should have to work 8 hours a day to hold themselves up and to defend for the country.
Well, I don't think that's the case. That wouldn't be my argument, at least. I don't think anyone should have to do anything.
Let's think about it from the other side of this.
Okay.
So, if you're Amazon, or your Uber, or your, any company that deals with logistics and trucking, or if you. All the jobs that are going to be automated first. Anybody that drives, your job's gone. You might as well buy 20
jobs.
Warehouse jobs gone. If you do anything if you do any sort of
conveyor belt jobs,
front office work, your job's going to be gone. I mean, anything that a computer is going to be able to take over. Right. If you're Amazon, you're Uber, you're one of these big wig companies that has the capacity to do that, and you can go in 10 years from now, we can spend a bunch of upfront money.
Yo, pause. We need to turn up our audio.
Turn up Nick and Kyle's audio. I can do that.
Okay.
I guess our audio sucks.
Mine's good though.
Talking no more.
Yeah. But if you're one of these companies and you go, if we spend a bunch of money up front right now, we don't have to employ people for the next forever again, right? So the future value is just do it.
Right.
And so what would stop them from doing that? In a capitalist society, they're going to always choose what's going to make them more money, right? We've seen that already. I mean, this year alone,
check. How are we now, Smitty? Let us know. Yeah, let us know in the chat how the audio's doing. We're trying to make it better.
Yes, please do. Also, whoever said, how does the delivery driver lose their job? Because no one's gonna need to drive a vehicle anymore.
Because cars will just be automated.
Oh, what up, Gabe? That's my boy Gabe. So anyone. That's Vane's, Gabe in the chat. He is a Amazon delivery driver.
So your job.
So he wants to know how he's gonna lose his job.
Your job is on a time limit because within the next 15 years maximum, an automated vehicle or an automated delivery drone is gonna be able to do your job better, faster, and cheaper than
drones.
You do it.
Gabe, drones.
And that's just how it works.
And so, those companies are going to always make the decision to.
If anybody that's working for Jeff Bezos thinks that he's going to make a decision that is good for you and not him,
right?
You're living in a fucking fallacy.
Gabe, get out of there, brother.
So
get out of there.
What do we do if these companies, they go, we can continue to make the same amount of more profit because we just cut our expenses, and we don't have to have the expense of employing people.
Wait. Before we get too far off this, I want to try to wrap this back around. So I'm going to try.
We're talking about UBI.
I'm going to try to be the moderator.
Okay. Well, no, I'm still on you. I'm still on UBI though.
Okay, but you're on UBI, but I'm not.
No, I'm not. Because
UBI.
I'm talking about capital. So we're talking about. So all of a sudden you've got these swarms of people that are going to be unemployed.
Okay.
And there isn't it's not like that job got replaced with a new job. It's that those jobs just went away. They're not coming back.
Gone.
So you've got a bunch of people that don't have money.
Theoretically, you could say that the 50,000 jobs were replaced by the 3 people that programmed the machines.
Yeah, but I'm saying there aren't. It's not a one. There's no
50,000
one.
to 3.
There's no one for one.
There's definitely no.
No.
No. And so what I'm saying is those people are going to need to be accounted for in some way. And this is what I'm talking about. This year alone, right? We saw
Tone
the
Geers
top
down a bit.
the top one. I can just move the mic down a little or away a little bit. The top 1% of people in the top 1% of wealth gained $2 trillion in wealth.
Okay.
The bottom 50% of wealth in America is only worth $2 trillion.
All right.
So you're saying, a handful of people.
So here, this is the analogy that I used for Kyle the other day, and I want to use the same analogy.
Okay, for what?
On the internet for UBI.
Okay.
Because whenever like these socialist ideas get talked about, the general argument is that the socialist idea is that we're trying to equalize everybody. I'm not trying to equalize anybody.
Okay.
I think that there should still be the elite class.
There should be classes still.
Yes, because
Okay.
that's just how things work, and things have always worked.
Right.
Because, unfortunately, some humans do better than the rest of us.
Right.
And, like, it is what it is. So, but for example, Jeff Bezos has more theoretical worth than he could ever do with in like 50 generations.
While he's alive, there's no way he'll ever be able to use all of the wealth that he holds.
No.
Not even in 50 generations.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that much disparity is baffling to me. Like Jeff Bezos could literally shower in a prostitute's piss, like a high end prostitute.
All right, we're going there, ladies and gentlemen. We're going
We're
there.
talking $10,000 a cup of piss.
So let's check Jeff Bezos' net worth while we're talking about it. Let's see here. So Jeff
200
Bezos,
billion.
he's worth $184.6 billion US dollars.
He's on pace to be worth $1 trillion by 2026.
$1 trillion by 2026.
So what we're saying is these people that are doing
Wow.
this have a responsibility to keep the economy that run like Jeff Bezos wouldn't be who he is if not for the fact that everybody uses Amazon to buy stuff.
Right.
And also most people don't realize this, but Amazon's profit is actually from their cloud software.
Yeah.
So
Really?
Netflix runs off Amazon. Fucking who
It does?
Google runs on their own thing, so not Google, but like
I didn't know
Apple
this.
runs on
I think Apple has their own.
like
shit
all
too.
like they
Those are, like,
run
the big three. Well, Microsoft has their own thing too.
they like
But
it's unfathomable the companies that run on Amazon's cloud services.
Well,
basically-
let me ask you this though. What do you think about Elon Musk?
What about him?
Like why? Like you're talking about Jeff Bezos, like
Yeah, him too.
making these moves.
him too.
Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill
Yeah.
Gates,
Yeah,
all
sure.
these people could make these
The
moves.
Waltons.
But like the thing is, Bill Gates does make these moves.
Okay.
Not
He-
to an extent though.
But where is that showing in the economy?
So the
Like
issue,
is that showing?
But we're not in the economy that we're talking about yet. We're getting there, but we're not
Okay.
there yet.
so
That's fair.
to quick sidebar, Bill Gates is cool as fuck because he donates every dollar that he can donate, but he donates it outside of the United States. So he doesn't help anybody here,
Yeah.
but he helps out even people in even worse situations. So it's like pick your poison. That's fine, but like still
I know.
fuck.
So what I'm saying is these people. So right now, Alaska has a UBI.
Yes.
It's in the forms of its community dividends. So because Alaska has this big oil refinery industry there, if you're a citizen of Alaska, you get a check from the oil company every
Right.
month.
Yeah,
Every
yeah,
month.
Right, I've heard that.
And that will be what our UBI has to be in terms of Amazon, Uber, Apple.
Let me ask you this:
These
though.
big companies
What
will have
do
to cut checks to the people
So here's
that are
What do you think the pros and cons of UBI are, though?
the pros.
What do you think the pros are? And honestly, if you could think, what do you think the cons would be?
The pro is that everybody has at the bottom a floor of equal footing.
Okay.
So no matter who you are, you minimally start in the same spot financially.
So it would just be giving an equal footing.
Footing,
start to
right. Your
everything.
floor is the same no matter who you
Okay.
are once you're an adult.
Now, would that, and this is an honest question, because I don't know if it would or not, would that take away the will for people to work and get jobs? Like,
hopefully, but like fuck those people.
but
But what if there aren't jobs?
Yeah.
That's the point.
That's true.
Like, you have to realize that the point is, what if there aren't jobs for these people to have?
Okay.
And if there aren't jobs, then that's now this is the thing. The whole point of it is that if somebody doesn't want to work, or if somebody doesn't
Right.
have the opportunity to work because of where we're going, then you give these people the opportunity to find creative outlets, whether they're to make money, right? Like, imagine if you had the backing of whatever amount of money per month or per year, that you could be like, I'm going to learn how to develop software,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm going to learn how to play an instrument, or I'm going to learn how to do
And I used this example
Yeah.
because I personally am a great example of this, because basically I am in the current climate, I'm in the 1% of Americans. Basically, I spent the last 3 years busting my ass, saving money, and working hard in Los Angeles. And then the industry that I worked in crashed and failed, and I moved back home. And since then, I have been functionally living off of my parents because I have the opportunity to do that. And that is a rarity. I understand that my life is a rarity, but I have spent the last X amount of months since the beginning of the pandemic building this studio, buying musical equipment with my savings, learning how to make music, learning how to produce. And I've had these opportunities, but there's lots of people that don't have these opportunities. There's people like me that, in March, and in February and March, we're working in high-end restaurants, and their restaurants closed. They went on unemployment, and instead of moving back home with their parents, they couldn't afford their rent, and now they're homeless.
They're on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those people do exist.
Yeah, oh, of
I
course,
believe
yeah,
that,
all over
yeah.
the country.
And like,
100%.
if I wouldn't have had the parents that I have and the support system that I have, luckily enough to have that, I would literally be homeless right now.
But
Because the situation that
could
I
you
had,
not get unemployment?
but where I was living,
Right.
I'm on unemployment.
Right.
Where I was living wouldn't have even been half of my rent,
Right.
Right.
let alone food, let alone anything else.
And that was with the unemployment bonus.
The one-time $1,200 check and that unemployment bonus.
The unemployment bonus.
Now,
yeah.
what do we think about this next stimulus that's supposed to be passed and Mitch McConnell striking everything down?
It's not gonna have. It has it's an extra $300 of unemployment. There's no stimulus check.
The
No
word,
stimulus.
Nothing.
the name Mitch McConnell elicits words in my brain that I cannot say on a live stream.
And this is the other thing that always drives me nuts. And I think we talked about this maybe in the last podcast, but the airlines are a great example of a company that doesn't pay into the system, but then requires being bailed out.
Yes.
And it makes sense, right? Because airlines, we're gonna need airlines again. At some
And
point.
churches.
Churches. Yeah, but
Churches got how many billions of dollars from that stimulus
Yeah.
program that Trump cut?
So
They haven't paid $1 in taxes ever?
why do these companies not have to pay in but then get to bail out? Well, they know the country's not going to let the airline system fail,
Right.
because we need it as it's part of a functioning economy. But
And we need churches too.
well, the issue is that we need these companies to start paying into the system
We
that
only
they
need Christian churches.
require bailing out from. And why we're not doing that is because, again, it comes back to the same thing, is there's people are inhibiting that requirement
Ooh, you see that
because they're being
ghost?
paid.
Shit was clean.
They're being paid by
was
these
clean.
companies through their lobbyists to stop them from needing to pay their fair share.
Yes,
So
100% Gears. But no matter how many times you can reiterate that, that's how it is, and it's not gonna be any different. Here's my issue. It's me being the radical fucking hippie that I am. I see the Republicans that want to keep things the same for the richest people in the world and continue to make things worse for everybody else here. And then I see the Democrats that want to do the same thing, but they also want gay people to get married.
yeah.
It's fuck all of them.
Well, it's because what happened is that after Citizens United, the Democrats got wise to the fact that they weren't going to be able to compete if they didn't start playing the same games. So the Democratic Party went from the party of the people, right, union workers and yada yada yada, salt of the earth people, to they started protecting the same people that the Republicans protect. They evolved to take on the progressive social outlook that
Yes.
so if you financially speaking, if you vote red or blue, you're voting the same thing. Financially speaking, right now, until there's a third party that has been developed in the United States that is hilariously right, because when you talk about wings, right wing, left wing, people don't realize that's a circle that just doesn't touch at the top, right? So you get to this point, we've seen the beginnings of a populist like uprising, and that's what we saw when Bernie got really, really popular on the left, right? And that's exactly what we saw
really popular on the other side.
with Trump.
Exactly.
So we're seeing this uprising of people who are fed up with the government structure that we've got.
With the norm.
The issue is that those people are so divided on their social outlook of abortion, gun rights, legalization of marijuana,
Racism. Hatred.
yeah, right, yeah, police structure, all that stuff. That
Sorry,
they're
dog.
still not, they're not going to be able to come together on the issue that actually matters, which is getting the money out of the political system so that we can actually make change.
But in this, I'll put my tinfoil hat on. Like, is it not just like a game? Like, are they not just placating the masses with these fucking arbitrary social issues to distract us?
That is what it is, yeah.
Like, yes.
Because that's the thing. Like, you can talk up and down as much as you want. I mean, the big one recently has been the abortion topic, right? And like, abortion is not going anywhere in this country. It's just not. Like, there's no feasible way that the right can get rid of legalized abortion. And like, this is coming from, like, my family's very, very pro-life as a unit, but even my mom, who's very pro-life, has been like, legalized abortion isn't going anywhere. It just shouldn't, just don't use it.
But like, the thing is, those scum fucks are doing whatever they can to make it go. Like,
right.
Planned Parenthood is getting defunded.
But they're doing that to like, that is all over here. It's smoke and mirrors of saying, like, look at what we're doing over here, while they actually deal with the shit over here. And so it's like, why are they doing that? And same thing with the gun rights, right? Like, the guns aren't going anywhere in America, not anytime soon, at least. Like, you're not going
not
to.
If Kamal has anything to say.
You're not
gonna,
but you're not going to be able to, like, and you can say, like, oh, this might change or that might change, but like, when it comes down to brass tacks, like, you'll be able to get a gun as an American citizen, like, relatively easily if you're a normal fucking American citizen. So
now, what's a normal American citizen?
Like, if you don't have mental health issues that are, like, documented, and you are.
Now, what if you do have mental health issues, but
then you shouldn't be able to get a gun.
And they're not documented.
Oh, well, then you can get a gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's okay. That's not a problem.
Well, the problem there isn't with the fact that you can get a gun. It's the problem is that you have mental health issues that are undocumented.
That's very
and
true.
which means they haven't been addressed. But I'm saying, like, these are all issues that, I mean, the big one, I think it's on our talking point. I don't know if we want to pivot to it, but, like, the big one this week was the legalization and decriminalization of marijuana, right?
Right.
Obviously, we still see there's a huge gap in left and right's belief in the legalization of marijuana on a political spectrum. But you go 68% of Americans believe in the legalization of adult Americans believe in the legalization of marijuana.
Yes.
How
But
many?
68%.
All right.
Is the most
It's a
recent
nice
factor.
majority.
But why? So why is it illegal?
Because
Old crusty
the
white
U.S. is
cocksuckers
stuck in
run
their
this country.
ways.
Right. So
The U.S.
and
is stuck in their
they
ways.
can keep the battle and the talking points on, are we going to legalize or are we not? We're going to battle back and forth. The right doesn't want it, the left does. Well, they just keep printing money. I mean, this year is the worst. It's the worst economic calamity, arguably in United States history, but definitely since _08 and probably since the Great Depression. And the stock market's at an all-time high. Like I said, the top 1 or 0.1% of wealth added an additional $2 trillion. Jeff Bezos is richer now than he was before his divorce. When his wife took half of his wealth, he's richer than that and then some. So, like, what's going on? And it's like, these people have just found a way to continue to make, like, unsanctioned, unlimited amounts of wealth without being touched by the fact that, like, our country is structured to not let that happen.
Right.
So that is what it is. But so the long-winded question is, UBI, I think, to me is an inevitability because these
This is
these
my
companies.
question. What does that do to the U.S. though?
What do you mean?
doesn't that just put us in more and more debt? Like, doesn't that just make
No, because
everything-
the companies that are making trillions and trillions of dollars just have to,
they would just pay into that? They
Yeah.
would be taxed more?
and they'll
pay
have
into
to
that?
because this is the thing.
That makes sense.
Amazon and Apple, like broke people can't buy new iPhones.
No.
Broke people can't buy Teslas.
No.
Broke people can't even buy shit on Amazon. So like if you have a bunch of people who are rampantly unemployed and don't have any money, your business model doesn't work anymore. So there will be a pivot where they go, we have to keep these people, like we have to keep this afloat.
So here's the
We have,
example
we have
that
to
I
keep
gave
people
the other night.
buying.
Yeah,
When we
right.
were-
You have to.
Have
When-
to keep people buying to put back into the economy.
And if 30% of the economy all of a sudden doesn't have money,
So when Kyle and I were talking the other night, and I feel like this is in the country that we're in the climate that we're in, how things work.
Right.
I feel like the most natural step before we actually get to a government implemented UBI is so. Unfortunately, Jeff Bezos isn't going to do this himself, so it's going to need to be the government cracking down on large businesses. But basically, I tried to do some simple math, judging by Jeff Bezos' net worth and estimating actual cost of things as opposed to the retailer cost, like the cost of production. And roughly, Jeff Bezos could give every person subscribed to Prime
Oh, right.
like roughly $10,000 in credit, and he would still be able to wipe his ass with $100 bills for the rest of his life.
so just to speak to on the Amazon, they're the easy one to talk about. I don't mean to pick on them, but like
But
they're
it's
just
the
the easiest
yes.
one, yeah.
It is the
So because he's the richest guy. So if you see this year, so they just announced that they're doing holiday bonuses or end of year bonuses for like every employee in Amazon or something, or it might be if you work in a warehouse or a distribution center or whatever the hell they call them, you're getting some sort of bonus. They did the math, they crunched the numbers. Of the wealth accumulated this year alone by Bezos and Amazon, it's like 0.02% of that wealth is going back to these bonuses.
Right.
He could have given every employee a $100,000 bonus, and he still would have been richer than he was at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes.
But he-
$100,000 bonus
but
to
they
every
would never
employee.
do that.
Why?
I don't know.
Right,
But-
that's what
but
I'm saying.
But they would never
You
do
could
that.
give $100,000 to every one of your employees, and still be the richest man on earth.
Anyone who's in the chat, are you getting a Christmas bonus? I want to know.
Well, so here, go to this.
up?
You go to the Discord really quick.
Yeah. I've got
And-
every link pulled open.
Okay. Oh, go to the tweet. That one.
This one?
Yeah. Can you make that bigger?
Yeah.
Or zoom in. I love this guy. This is one of my favorite guys on Twitter.
Ooh.
Oh fuck.
Shout out to Dan Price. I don't
Dan
know this
Price.
guy.
So this guy got
Dan
famous.
Price.
He's a CEO. Go back to his bio really quick. 'Cause I don't want to fuck it up because I want to give him the credit that you're pooching. So he's the
Follow me on Twitter, Leonard Dons. I think there's an underscore.
I cut my CEO pay by $1 million so all workers could make at least $70,000 per year. So I don't remember what his company is, but he was like your typical kind of CEO where he's like making this like buku. I mean, that's not even really buku money compared to like Bezos, but this guy was making over $1 million a year. He go back to the
Couple
tweet.
bonuses?
He,
All right.
he made every employee. So if you work for this guy's company, you instantly make $72,000 a year. I'm pretty sure they've like made, including him. He makes $72,000 a year annually as well. So, and all he talks about is stuff like this on Twitter, where he goes, "Look, so the Fed pumped an extra 3.2 million into the stock market. As a result, stocks soared to record highs. So execs essentially got stock-based bonuses paid by the government, but giving money to regular people would be too socialist."
Right.
So like this guy's a great follow on Twitter, by the way.
It's
Dan
like,
Price
it's
Seattle.
like indirect. That's basically like what it is. It's like
Right,
we
but
can pump money into the stock market.
yeah,
And then people get paid from that. But
but only if you have stock.
exactly. But I'm saying if it's asking to just give regular people checks in the mail, that's out of the question.
Yeah, and it's the same thing I was talking about the airlines, right? Like these airlines, the capitalist
ridiculous.
question.
the
Yeah, it's
capitalist
crazy.
belief would be like if what happened this year where the pandemic happened, then like the airlines would just have to like figure it out.
Right.
But they didn't. They got bailed out, which is in at its core a socialist
Gabe,
belief.
are you
so.
getting a Christmas bonus? I want to know. Do you know? Do you know if you're getting one?
Let me read that. Let me
us
read
know.
that chat for a minute, Kyle.
Apparently, Smitty and Cody are getting bonuses.
Yeah, bonuses. I probably won't get a bonus because I work for a family-owned private company.
My bonus will probably be in
And my
March.
boss can do whatever the hell he wants, and he ain't
Not the
gonna
end of
do
the year.
shit about a bonus.
Can I have that for the chat for a minute?
Yeah, there's
I wanna just
not much
go through
going
it.
on, but check it
I just
out.
want to read what everybody's been
Yeah,
saying.
go ahead.
Piece
We
of
can go-
bread.
We can go to a different topic.
I'm not sure what this guy means by piece of bread.
Oh, that's my boy.
Huh.
Yo, what
that's
up?
you, right? Aren't you Toast?
Oh,
What up, Verde?
you are Toast. Okay.
Yeah. OG.
Are you still Toast?
No.
I didn't think so. That was years
Those
ago.
are my OGs.
Unreal. That's
Yeah.
cool.
What up, Verde? Oh, what is it? So Gabe said if I work the whole month with no call off, I get like $3 to $350. Okay, that's decent. But like, what if you got sick? Like,
Then you get fucked.
what if you actually got sick enough that you couldn't work? Then you want to get a bonus? That's crazy to me. What up?
Smitty, am I still too loud?
Cody wants to know your opinions on the COVID,
pay
payouts.
cuts. Oh,
Pay
payouts.
cuts.
No, it says pay cuts, right?
Pay
Yeah, pay
cuts,
cuts.
yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
COVID pay cuts.
From
if,
who?
If anybody is working for somebody that
Okay,
cut your
we also
pay
did.
during this pandemic, quit your job.
A lot of people did. It was super popular.
Verde, give us something to talk about COVID, brother. I know you got a lot of opinions about COVID. So my man Ascends, he lives out in where does he live out? He lives in East Chicago. It's like Indiana, but it's called East Chicago. And
Yeah,
they got
yeah.
they got COVID running rampant out there.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
he's in college right now.
Um,
Let us know, Verde.
Smitty, like, what are you talking about? Just like generally speaking on COVID pay cuts, like that was really popular. Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind have a little bit more too.
Pour it up, boys. Pour it up.
Oh, you took the label off.
Yeah.
Here, yeah, that back.
And I just said the name.
Let's go to a different
all
topic.
good.
Let's go to a different
We're
topic.
allowed to show branding, right?
I have no idea.
I don't know that.
I couldn't tell you.
Who cares? I'm out of ice, but fuck it. I'm also,
It
I'm
is
also
tragic, Gabe. Yo, get Jairus in here. I want to see his goofy ass.
All right, here. Oh, fuck. Hold on.
Yo, wait, pour me up.
Here, it'll just be easier if you pour it yourself, and
No,
I'm not
it
trying
won't.
to fucking spill. Oh, Jesus. Let's go to a different topic.
That's
What are we
good.
talking
That's
about?
good.
I
I don't know. Just go to
Jeez.
the what's
Dude's trying
next?
to get me wasted.
Hey.
Oh, we talked about this kind of already though.
We talking about marijuana, boys?
Here, cut.
Marijuana
Thank you.
minutes. Basically, the House passed it. Like, everybody knew that they were. And if Georgia doesn't vote blue, like,
This won't
tomorrow,
pa- yeah,
or
this
whatever
won't
the fuck
pass.
that is.
What's the
first week of
chat's
January.
opinion on marijuana? Let us know in the chat.
I
What
think
is
I
it?
think I can answer that for them.
420s in the chat if everybody's getting high today.
Gabe, I know you're hitting them silly dabs. Come on, man.
Let's see some 420s in chat.
Yeah, the bill's all but doomed in the Republican-led Senate unless obviously we can turn. It's good though for public sentiment. I feel like just because
But
it shows
is it
we're-
though? Like, does it even matter if it's just
we're-
something?
but it's the first time ever that the House has voted to decriminalize. So it shows that we've got one of the three steps.
We've
has been-
gotten somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what it shows.
Okay, I'll take that.
We-
So
made
even if it means
progress.
2024, or 2022, take another crack at if we don't win the Georgia. If the Democrats don't win the Georgia runoffs, then at least 2022 we can say, well, the House just has to do this again.
Hey, Verde. Yo, look what Smitty said.
Yeah,
Yo, honestly, I'm sorry, Smitty. Like, it is what it is
What'd he
at this
say?
point.
He said, "Don't cuss or talk about weed. I'm streaming this. Fuck shit.
Shit
Cunt."
sucks, man.
Streaming this,
Verde, that's what I'm saying,
Fuck.
brother. Come,
Wait,
you
we're
gotta
s-
tune in.
we're
What do you-
streaming
yeah,
this.
we're streaming this. You're not streaming anything, bud.
Don't
He could be streaming
cuss
though.
or talk about weed. I'm streaming this.
You know I smoke fire. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's my
But
boy.
yeah, we talked about this kind of in our
Sorry,
broad strokes.
trolling,
We
I'm
can
kidding.
go to the next one. Oh, sorry, trolling. That's funny.
Yo, we gotta get our boy Ascends on as a guest.
Basically, here, before we go on to the next topic, if anybody is familiar with
Yes, sir.
technology, all my viewers here, anybody that views this in the future, let's say I have a Streamlabs employee that views this in the future.
All right.
You can go fuck yourself.
Whoa,
So,
that
I've had-
took a turn.
I've had so many goddamn issues with Streamlabs.
Damn.
Ideally, I would not be
This is
sitting.
wild.
Yeah, no, you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Answer my boy Gabe. So
But,
that's
yeah.
Gabe. Ascends is Verde.
We can. What this means if this bill passes and cannabis gets decriminalized,
Which it should.
Yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Will it happen?
No.
Probably not.
Not. It's not gonna happen
At
this
least
week.
not right now.
Um,
Soon.
It's not gonna happen this week. It won't even get voted on this week, though. I don't think Mitch will even let it go to a vote.
Don't say that word. 'Cause I'll say anytime you say him, I'm. It's like
It's all good.
Nails on the
It's all good.
chalkboard.
Yeah. It's like I'm gonna
Nails
say
on
something
the
that will get us
chalkboard.
banned, basically. Like
It's the
Alright,
fucking
well,
way,
don't
it's
do
the
that.
fucking way she goes, bud.
It's the way she goes.
basically, if cannabis gets decriminalized in the United States, it will no longer be a federal crime to have
To possess it.
to possess cannabis
Mhm.
of a certain weight.
Right.
Obviously, there's going to be an upper limit on this weight because they still don't want people growing and selling it. It's still going to be illegal to grow, which is fucking bullshit. But it's a step in the right direction. It's a half of a step in the right direction because cunt fuck cocksucker Mitch McConnell is not going to let it get voted on.
Wow.
But
Wow.
to me, this is a win. This inevitably gets passed. It'll also let a lot of people out of jail that are in there for
that's
nonviolent weed offenses. So that's the other thing to kind of keep in mind, which I think is something I really do think it can happen in the next 4 years.
Does decriminalization mean that it's legal? Could I walk down the street smoking a joint like I could smoke a cigarette in certain places? No, you can't.
But that'll be up to the states.
Right.
But all the states that are legal recreationally are already dismissing this law anyway. So it'll open up the ability to bank and have like your money federally backed. It'll open up the ability to have people out of jail that are nonviolent drug offenders, stuff like that. So it's a really, really good step in the right direction, but it's not the end all be all, but it's a good step in the right direction for sure.
Long story short, though, with my Streamlabs issue, ideally, I would be sitting in my office right now on a webcam just popped up onto the screen, and we could have a guest sitting in this chair. But every time I try to add a second video stream to Streamlabs, the program crashes, and my computer is a powerhouse. Like, there's nothing left that I can upgrade. All the parts that are upgrades for my computer are out of stock. If you know anything about computers, you know which parts are all out of stock, and I can't get any of them anyway. But I have everything that is one step below all of the new series of everything. My computer is a motherfucker, and Streamlabs crashes the instant that I try to add a second video source. But to get to this guy's question, it says, I know friends that have had their jobs completely shut down due to workers becoming infected with COVID, and their pay comes to a pause, so they're at home with no job. What do y'all think of that? People should still get paid somehow.
They're not supposed. So technically, I actually just kind of went through this because I was in quarantine. I think we talked about it before.
We touched on this a little bit, Verde, but we can go over it again really quick.
So, in the CARES Act that came out in March, technically, any small business is supposed to allow their employees 2 weeks of pay that they can trade in for one-for-one tax credits.
Yes.
So basically what that means is your business pays you, and then when they file for their taxes, every dollar that they paid you for those 2 weeks off, they're supposed to get back. Now, if your company's like mine and they're really, really big, but they still qualify, they don't want to do that because it's a huge fucking accounting fuck off, but you really, really would have to push for it. But like I was in quarantine, so was my girlfriend's mom. Her company, she works for Macy's. Her company gave her the time, and it's also not supposed to affect your already accrued PTO. So like I took 3 sick days, but like hypothetically, my company should pay me for those 3 sick days, and then I should still get those 3 sick days on my like accrued PTO, if that makes sense.
Should.
And any company, any small or medium-sized company should qualify for that, and basically that's like everybody.
And this is where my radical socialist leftist brain instantly goes. Anytime that there's a should involved, where the question is, anytime there's an option given to where people could get helped or one person is going to make more money,
right,
that one person is always going to make more money. So
Yeah.
Right.
Gears said all of these shoulds. Should this, should that, should none of this. Because none of that is actually going to happen.
Right.
Because you're not getting your days.
Right.
These people are not getting paid.
Right.
And your boss's bosses are making more money than they ever were.
Well, this is the thing, and
So why should the government be passive about that, besides the fact that the government exists to let those people make as much money as possible?
if I was in a different position where like, okay, so like I said, it was only 3 days because I was able to work remote the rest of the time.
PPP loans are different than what he's talking about.
Yeah, this isn't that. This is It actually might not have been in the CARES Act. I might have misspoke. It was it might have been here. I can find it.
Everything that you said was correct. Maybe not what it's called. I don't know that either.
Paid leave. COVID.
Verde, I got another question for you because I know you're a big supporter of Biden and Kamala. What do you think they're going to bring to the table coming into office that Trump has not had for the last 4 years? Honestly, give us some thoughts on the new presidency.
Look up the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. Employees paid leave rights. That's what I'm
See,
talking
and I just
about.
want to touch on this really quick. I just
Not
want
the
to throw
CARES
this out
Act.
here. So I know my employer. So I don't know if anyone knows exactly with the small business owners, but I know that with small privately owned businesses, when COVID started shutting a lot of stuff down, you were able to like receive loans from the government,
Yes,
right?
that's the PPP loans.
That's the PPP loans.
Okay, that's the PPP loans. Okay,
Yeah.
so
And if you pay them,
right.
technically, they're called loans. But like, if you pay them back to a certain extent, it's actually it turns into a grant.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know a lot of businesses were getting these loans,
Mm-hmm.
and they were supposed to use them for certain things. Do you guys know what they were supposed to use them for?
Like their employees.
Exactly.
Payroll.
To-
Yeah.
Payroll.
For payroll. So that was like if employees got laid off,
And they use them for expansion.
they could still pay their employees when they were off for the COVID, right?
Mhm.
I know firsthand that my employer did not do that.
Yes.
Okay, he laid off almost the entire store,
Including yourself.
including myself. I was laid off for 4 months from COVID. For
Yes.
4 months.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Got the unemployment with the extra 600 when all that was going on.
Yep.
Now I know for a fact that he did not use that for anything for the employees.
No.
He literally pocketed the majority of that cash
Yeah.
So
and built a new store.
So this is how it works, or this is how it was designed to work. You got that loan, and basically what it meant was if you kept X amount or
Well,
X
it was-
percent of your
It was
people on
designed
payroll.
like that, but then bastardized by the Republicans to work how it worked for Kyle's boss.
Exactly.
Well, like what he had to do to keep that money in his pocket is keep X percent of his employees on his payroll.
Exactly, and that's what he did. He kept like 3
Right.
people,
Yeah,
4 people.
which is enough for him to then get all that money.
yeah.
And this is the thing.
And
Unfortunately,
not have to pay it out to actual employees.
So-
unfortunately,
Go ahead.
the issue is you kind of get put in this moral dilemma because were you at that time in a worse place being laid off?
Not necessarily, but
You had a support system. You could
Well,
live
yeah,
in your
no,
grandparents'
well,
basement
but he had
just
a-
like I can live
but
in
he
my
had
parents'
but
basement.
your if I remember correctly, your unemployment check was almost identical
this
to your
is the thing. I'll be completely honest. The unemployment check with that extra 600
yeah.
was maybe like $100 more than what I
Right.
was making working. But the thing is, why I think it's just kind of shady is because as soon as they announced when that 600 was going to be up, I get a call from my manager. Hey, why don't you come in? We can talk about when you can come back.
Yeah.
So they were just playing a majority of their employees with the system.
Precisely.
So as soon as they knew their employees that they had laid off would not be able to make it without that extra 600,
But in their eyes-
they're like, all right, let's bring him back.
But-
let's
but-
bring him
but
back.
in
Which
your-
is not a bad thing. Like, I appreciate, like, don't get me wrong. I appreciate that I still have a job, that I got to go back to work. I've been working since August. I'm
See-
not discounting that at all.
But that, and luckily, we can easily discuss
Yeah,
the dichotomy of this because this is the same as how I brought it up earlier.
right.
When let's talk a theoretical.
Okay.
Let's say I moved out of the house when I was 17 and I haven't spoken a word to my parents since.
Mhm.
I was making a lot more money than my unemployment check was,
Mhm.
even with that bonus.
Right.
Okay.
If I wouldn't have moved back here, my apartment that I lived in,
You wouldn't have been able to afford it.
absolutely not.
Right, and see, that's how it could have been with a lot of people.
Exactly.
A lot of
You're
people,
also in
even
a-
with that extra government money,
Even with that extra money,
they could not.
Well,
have
you're
made it.
in a uniquely bad position because
I had a high-paying job.
no, well, yeah, but you had a high-paying job, but also your high payment was based on your
Tips.
tips. So
And they
you
were
were
extravagant.
you were insanely, but like Kyle. So just to play devil's advocate, and I
Right.
kind of see it like to me,
Yeah.
if I'm your boss, I'm doing you a favor.
Well, yes
Because
and
you
no.
get to sit at home and
Yes and
collect
no.
a check, and I get to use this money to expand and potentially hire more people down the road. And all it means is, and then especially because he's like, all right, after that $600 is up, we're bringing everybody back.
Yeah.
But
But see, that's the thing. It worked out in my favor, but the only problem, the only issue
everybody won
in this situation,
in your situation.
but
Right,
in
right,
other
right.
situations, bosses could have done the exact same thing, and their employees wouldn't have been winning. Like if Donnelly's boss would have done the same thing, said, "Hey, we're getting this loan. I'm laying everyone off and milking the system," and then he would have been at home making less than he was working.
What's even crazier is that they wanted to milk the system even harder.
Right.
They wanted to keep everyone on the hourly wages for like 1 or 2 days a week, so they wouldn't have to apply for unemployment.
And hourly wages are wait, you were $15 an hour though, right?
Well, I mean, I was making substantially more than $15 an hour.
Right, but I'm saying, like, imagine if you were a fucking server in Lafayette, Louisiana, or Indiana.
$3 an hour.
$3 an hour, but they can keep your hours on the books,
right?
Take all that money, not pay you shit,
but regardless, that same thing still applies in Malibu because $15 an hour in Malibu is fucking nothing.
Right? Yeah. Finally lost my first bet of the day. Fuck.
Gambler.
Yeah, I'm having a good day though.
But this is a good comment from your buddy here. It says, with my job, they actually made us use our PTO first, and then once we've used them up, then they will pay out the rest of whatever 2 weeks we have left. That makes sense.
That's what my job told me, and technically that's fucking bullshit. But you have to be willing to press back on that.
And no one's willing to fight.
And I'm not personally willing to fight back on it, but like if I was like I said, mine was 3 days. So like, is it worth the headache for me to when I have all this PTO to fight back on losing 3 days of fucking sick time? To me, I weighed it in my head. It wasn't. But if it was 2 weeks of sick time and I was in a worse position, that would be a different story. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on it. But yeah, it's not a great system.
Smitty said, don't you have to provide pay stub details for the PPP to get loan forgiveness, or does it have to be paid back? Oh, or it has to be paid back.
Probably, right.
I've heard of that, but the only thing is I've heard, you
hear these things, but in practice, has anybody ever seen that actually happen?
Well, regardless,
I have a family friend who owns a personal business, and he declined the loan. The government, hit him up. We're like, hey, we can give you a loan for X amount of money. I think it was like $100,000 or like a couple $100,000, and they're like, no strings attached, but the only strings that are attached is in X amount of years, you have to pay back the loan in full. And there's no interest. That's the only thing. There's no interest.
That's why a lot of people took it.
But they had to pay back in full. But the only thing that I've heard, which is kind of like iffy, is I've heard that some places there's like longer, like basically no end date on when they have to pay it back.
So here's my limited experience with the PPP loans. I technically have an incorporated business. Do I have any employees besides myself? No. Do I make any money? No. Does the business exist? Yes. In the state of California, it does technically exist.
Okay.
So I kind of looked into it. It's like, okay, like some people are getting these loans. Can I finagle my way into some fucking money?
Mm-hmm.
The short answer, no. Because of the fact that I don't make any money and have no employees.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to prove income.
Yes. And prove that I'm paying somebody to work for me.
Right.
Because yourself doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, you have to. So
because you're not paying yourself.
From my understanding, you have to pay the loan back, but the reason why it was so enticing to businesses to take was because it was so low interest or no interest.
Yes.
And so you can borrow that
interest.
money and then just pay it back slowly over the course of like however long. And then like you said, there's also it can turn into a grant if you follow like the right steps of like keeping X amount of employees employed or whatever. I don't know because I didn't have to deal with it, but there were steps, like you said, to getting that money like as a grant instead of a loan. So
yo, are we still live? Like I'm lagging over here.
Looks like we're still live.
Good on me.
Smitty, are we still live?
Yeah, let us know if the stream is doing okay. I can't tune in.
Everything seems okay on my end.
Cool. As long as it's all good, I'm just checking.
Smitty said live as fuck.
Live as fuck.
All right, good.
Cool.
So
let's go to another topic.
Yeah,
I want to transition to something that you guys know I hold dear to my heart, hopefully my boy Gabe and Verde are still in the chat. I want to transition to the new console releases. They suck, and I'm pissed.
Wait, what?
I
The
can't get my hands
releases?
on a console.
Oh, okay.
No
Yeah.
one can get their.
But we've talked about this 3 weeks in a row now.
No,
like,
we haven't. The only thing we talked about the last time was that they were about to release, because on our last stream they weren't out yet.
Okay, so
But we compared it to the AMD release.
exactly.
Oh right, we did.
Yes.
Okay.
And like this was as we've said been known.
Okay.
Like we knew this was gonna happen.
I'm still mad though. Like.
See, but like
Oh, my boy said LMAO. Yeah,
We-
it's fucked.
we can
I'm
tie
pissed.
we can tie this into anything though. So here's
Wait, so this is. I have a serious question though. Do we think this was manufactured
scarcity.
scarcity,
Yes.
or
Yes.
is this real?
Scarcity.
No,
I-
but see,
manufactured
I don't
scarcity.
know though. With
I
COVID, is it real? Verde, what do you think? Is this real or is it fake? Is
Here-
it manufactured?
In my opinion,
You think it is? Dude, if it is, that's so bogus.
hear me out. And this is gonna sound ridiculous
Alright.
until you hear me out.
Okay.
I think that the Xbox scarcity is manufactured. I think that the PS5 scarcity
Is legit.
is a legitimate scarcity.
I believe that.
So
Because the Xbox is not selling nearly as well as the PlayStation.
here's how we'll
Not
know.
nearly as well.
here's
and Microsoft has been known and so here's the thing. Microsoft is handedly the largest computer tech corporation in the world, right?
Now, are they bigger than Sony?
Are
like
they-
like
Way-
size
yeah,
wise,
way bigger.
Way
not
bigger.
not just computers, like overall, like
Yes.
every facet
So
that they have.
Microsoft's enterprise software
Somebody said they're out.
is your headphones ape? What? It's your headphones ape.
So Hiron said he's only getting left audio. Smitty said it's your headphones. So Smitty must be getting good audio still. Verde, let us know.
Okay, so you might only have left audio.
So just to say really quick, Verde said Sony and Microsoft need to be better with releasing bigger waves. I take it.
Wait. Let me talk. Let me just make a point. Real
Has
quick.
to do with COVID.
I guess on paper we actually don't know if it's manufactured scarcity.
We don't know.
But we will know. What's today? What's today's date?
Today's the 6th.
So there's 19 days till Christmas.
Right. So if they have
I'd
a
say
fat stock for Christmas,
If you know
then
on
it's
December
bogus.
15th, if anybody in the country anywhere can go grab one and buy it,
Yeah.
it was manufactured.
So there is a very distinct possibility that you only have left channel audio if you're using headphones, because the way that I have these mics wired up is some jank ass bullshit.
Yikes.
And I don't know how to do it any better. Honest to God. So like, we are recording 3 mono channels that I'm sending through Pro Tools to a second audio interface, and I am quite literally only using mono signals, and I haven't figured out how to fix that yet. So if you're using headphones and you're only hearing us in the left, it's good to know that you are only hearing us in the left, but I currently don't have anything to do about it because
Yeah, I'll just have to kind of deal with it for the time being.
yeah. It should, but and I don't know. It should be coming out in mono stereo, which doesn't make sense, but that's how I have it wired. But if it's not, it's not. Sorry.
So yeah, like your buddy said, there's supposed to be one more restock before the end of 2020.
Yes.
If that restock is enough that like anybody in the whole fucking world can grab one, then this was manufactured hype.
So like he said here, he said, I call bullshit though. They can easily send a regular wave out and people can be safe. The stores can put it under control when it comes to people trying to purchase without getting out of control. So
I don't think they're doing it as a
you don't think it's
No.
COVID related?
I don't think they're doing it to try to keep like COVID bullshit in. I think that what they did is they said we can release 10% of our stock
Yeah.
in November, manufacture all this hype, and then
just drop
right
it all?
before Christmas, do it where like everybody and their mother is trying to buy these things, and we'll have enough for everybody to buy them. That's what I think. But again, we'll know by the end of the year, because this is the thing. They won't press this outside of their buying opportunity, which is Christmas.
See, my only issue with that is like was Sony and Microsoft really see? The only reason why I agree, the only reason why I would believe that it's a manufactured scarcity is because it's such a half step for consoles. Like, I feel like this is really the first time in the last, 15 years that there's not really been much of a difference between the previous console and the console they're dropping now. Like, if you look at the history, if you look at PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, huge technological jump. If you look at PS3 to PS4, same thing. If you look at Xbox 360 to Xbox One, even though the Xbox One was a horrible launch and everyone hated the console, regardless of people's personal feelings, the actual hardware was way better than the previous hardware. So all I know is that with these new consoles, if you had a PlayStation 4 Pro or an Xbox One X, going from those to the Series X or the PlayStation 5 is not a huge jump.
No.
So it's like, that's the only reason where I could see, okay, maybe Microsoft and Sony were scared. Maybe they're like, hey, like, we need to make people want to buy our next console.
Right.
And I could see that. But on the other hand, it's the new console. Like, I've heard of people they're still on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're on a PS3 and you've been waiting and waiting and waiting, you didn't want to go to PS4, you're going to buy a PS5. There's still a big demographic that doesn't buy every console. Like you said, there's people that don't have the money.
Yeah.
Not everyone has the money to buy every console that drops.
Right. I don't buy any of the consoles that drop.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but personally,
if you're a PC player, then
guess
you're
I have
not
to
buying the
switch.
consoles. If you're a PC player, you're not buying the consoles. But
right.
so let's see. Verde said PlayStation 4, Xbox One, they released in November of, I think it was like 3-4 years ago, Verde, and it was difficult to get one. Then late December, you could walk in and get one.
Bingo.
That's what happened with me. I walked in my local GameStop in December and bought one just fine.
Telling you, they do that on purpose. It's a marketing
it's just
scheme.
frustrating because
I don't blame them. It works. I kind of want a PS5, honestly.
yeah,
Like I said, the only thing at this point, the only thing that drives me to want to buy a console is the exclusive games, and I'd like to see some of those.
Miles
exclusive
Morales,
games.
baby.
Yeah. So, but that's the other thing. I have a PS4.
Who
So if I really wanted to, I could buy Miles Morales on PS4.
So Matt Hiron said, "Who cares if you get it a little later, though? It's not necessarily the point of
Who's Matt Hiron again? That's Johnny.
It's
right?
frustrating.
Aliens?
I thought that was David.
So
Or Villarda.
Yeah.
So who cares
I
if you
think
get
it's
it a little
Aliens.
later? Honestly, there's not too much of a problem getting it later, but like in my mind, it's Johnny. What's up, Johnny?
What's good, bro?
The only reason, I'll be completely honest, the only reason I wanted to get a PlayStation 5 off launch, like launch day, I wanted one, ordered, being shipped to my house, because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, okay? And when the original Marvel Spider-Man dropped in 2018 or whatever it was, I think it was 2018, it was December 2018 actually. I know because it was the day before Mac Miller passed away, rest in peace Mac. I had that game on my PlayStation 4 counting down to when I could hit play and play it. And that's why I wanted a PlayStation 5. I wanted to be able to grab a PS5, run Miles Morales at everything it was worth on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
So, like, I personally think
Let me read those comments. Really quick.
in the PS5's case, Sony just should have waited. I understand that they needed to get it out as soon as possible.
See, and I agree, but see, this is where we go back to, like, if it was manufactured or not. If this was a manufactured scarcity, then they were going to do this regardless. But if they actually don't have stock, then I agree. They should have waited till they had enough.
I think in Sony's case, they legitimately don't have stock. The company themselves made as many as they can.
As many as they could.
Sony doesn't make any money at all.
Yeah.
Besides, like, every once in a while, they're the best TV, and
right.
Occasionally they'll be the best TV for 3 months.
I think they're the best TV all the time.
But
personally,
they're
I think
not.
Sony's
so,
the best.
Johnny, let me answer your question in a little bit of a different light.
Hell yeah!
So you said
it is. It's great.
Let's care if, or you said who cares if you get one a little later though. The reason that these companies drop this shit in November, same thing, dude. Call of Duty, right? One of the biggest gaming franchises in the world.
Cold War just dropped new COD.
The reason they drop all this shit.
Thoughts on Cold War?
They dropped the shit in late October, early November, mid-November, is because it generates a shitload of hype in the month to 6 weeks leading up to Christmas and Black Friday. So what happens is people go and buy it on Black Friday and give it as a gift for Christmas. And so, or they just want, but like the PS5 and the Xbox, what's the new Xbox One? Or Xbox X, right?
There's Series X and Series S.
But it's the new Xbox
Series.
is the new Xbox Series and the PS5. Those you wouldn't get them on sale on Black Friday, so
No.
they don't give a shit about Black
Just
Friday.
get them.
You get them
You'd
before
actually be able to get them.
Christmas, and then they're given as gifts on Christmas. So their huge market is the Christmas market, and they're not gonna like intentionally sabotage that in the name of like implied scarcity. They will get those if they can. They will get them out.
But
for
see,
Christmas.
like they didn't, and this is why.
But it's
I
not
don't
Christmas
think,
yet. They still have another 2 weeks.
But they didn't get them out for Black Friday.
But
There was nothing available for Black Friday.
you don't. But that's the thing. They don't want Black Friday is all about sales and deals. You're not going to get a new system on a sale
Well, right.
or a deal.
But
So they don't care about Black
They
Friday.
could have
Get
at
it
least.
at all.
They could have at least put them out.
But they
Like I've been told that GameStops like across the U.S. they only had 2 consoles available. They'd have 2 PlayStation 5s
Yeah.
with the disc, 2 digital editions, and the same with Xbox, 2 of
Mhm.
each. So it's like if you have people, I literally saw. I think our boy Bacon, he sent in a picture to our chat. A dude, he set up a bed outside of GameStop to sleep there for the console, but there's more than just him. There's more than 2 people. So it's like if you have a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen people lining up, and then the first 2 get the consoles, like that's
why
so
I think
disheartening.
it's manufactured hype. I
That's
think
so
they did that on
disheartening.
purpose. And I think it could be supply chain disruptions.
If there's
but-
already a PS5 Pro coming out, then the one of 2 things.
right.
One,
Did somebody say something? I don't.
yeah. So
Johnny said, "I don't think you actually answered the question." No, he never answers the question.
What do you mean? How did I?
Gears, he
Wait,
doesn't-
how did I not?
He
He
this
goes
is a
off on
question,
tangents.
like,
he goes
you-
off on He goes around it.
Yeah, we got a question. And then Gears
Whoa,
starts
wait,
here,
wait.
And then he works this way a little bit, but then he does
He
one
almost
of
gets to the
these.
question.
How did I not answer the question? Because the reason that it hurts the company if you get it later because everybody buys these consoles for the holidays.
If
And so
somebody's
if
already
Christmas-
making a PS5 Pro, they're scum.
If Christmas passes,
Plain and simple.
if Christmas passes, they won't get the PS5 ever. So like people don't wait later than Christmas. That's the point. That was the point I was trying to make. Is
Hey,
like
I want to get on the rest of. All right, so Johnny, to get Gears
we have
to
exactly
answer,
1 hour.
to
by
get
the way.
Gears to answer exactly what you're saying, I'll ask him this. Johnny just wanted to know, who cares if you get it a little later? So he's basically just saying, why do people care to get it at launch versus 3 months later, 4 months later, 5 months later? And I guess you kind of just answer that, and that is saying that if people don't get it at launch, then I feel like what Gears just said, some people are the type of people, if they can't get one at launch,
They don't want
They don't want one
then
at all.
they're just not going to get one.
Yeah.
Like, they're just pissed. They're like, oh, well, I couldn't get one, and I wanted one at this date,
Mhm.
and if I can't get one that day, I'm not getting one.
Right.
So it's like, I understand that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I agree with you, Johnny. Like, I don't really care. Like, if I can get my hands on a PlayStation 5 in the next year, I'll get one. Like, because I'm a dedicated
Mm-hmm.
gamer to the point where, like, I will get a PlayStation 5 whenever I can get one because I want one that bad. But not everyone is like that. So I guess
Yeah.
that's just basically really it, is not everyone is to the point where they'll
Talked
get
about
one no
that.
matter what.
I'm done talking about the coronavirus.
Yeah, we talked about COVID.
Well,
oh,
yeah,
we can talk about that. Well, we talked about this a little bit too.
I want to
but-
touch on this a little bit just for my boy Ascends in here. He asked, so he has 2 things here. He said PlayStation are making the Pro apparently, but then he said, what do you think of discless? And I know we touched on this last
Yeah.
time. We can just give a quick shout out to him. He said, what do you think of discless versus digital versions of the consoles? Yeah, they're really just trying to get people's money. They are, Verde, if they're already making a Pro. So we already
personally,
said,
I'll never buy a disc again. but I don't care about.
Okay, but I want
Yeah.
to get to his next comment too. before
About
we-
Nintendo?
Yeah, because I'm about to rip on Nintendo.
For sure.
We should also pivot here soon to a new topic.
Yes.
Bro, we talk about politics all the time.
We don't talk about
like,
politics, but we should pivot off this.
We can pivot soon.
Yeah.
People want to know.
Johnny,
this
I
is,
got
this
you,
is
I
a
got you.
technological. This is a
What
gaming.
about the
This is a
NES
gaming crowd we
Classic?
got here. All right.
I don't know if I can show that. Okay. I don't know if I want to have that on the screen while we're talking about video games either. We're just gonna
Don't
go ahead
just
and hide.
just pull that.
We're just gonna go ahead and hide this for now.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, cool. So basically, what are we talking about?
So
Discless versus
Yeah,
digital.
discless versus
I
digital,
can sum this up.
and then
I can sum this
Nintendo.
up in one sentence for you, Verde, because I'll just tell you what we talked about last time. Basically, we all believe, not necessarily I'm kind of on the devil's advocate side, on the side of thinking things will definitely stay the same for the people that like it that way.
Same.
Gears thinks that consoles will initially go digital in the coming years. It's going to be all digital. So that just basically means that there's not going to be discs you can buy. Consoles will no longer be a thing. It will just be attachments with TVs and or monitors where you're going to be able to access these games through Microsoft and or Sony software on the hardware.
So if you're familiar with Microsoft's, was it Xbox?
Xbox
Now?
Game
Xbox
Pass.
Game
Game
Pass.
Pass,
Verde,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure has Game Pass. A lot of my friends have Game
Hand
I
me the
Pass.
have
whiskey.
Game Pass. I have Game Pass, and I'm actually also still subscribed to Stadia for whatever fucking reason.
Stadia. Verde, do you know about Stadia?
Basically, in the general opinion of to summarize Gears' opinion, so he doesn't get going again. He thinks that all fucking games are gonna be similar to Game Pass and Stadia.
I actually have a really
soon.
good example why to disagree with that actually too.
And so do I.
Yeah.
Because of two things. Like one, like so I have two examples of this in my daily life.
Okay.
In video games, I play PC games
Right.
and I play classic games.
Okay.
And I like to collect classic games. I have hundreds of physical copies.
Yeah.
of
Upstairs,
games.
you got a bunch.
Hundreds of games.
Yeah.
And
Probably not as many as Ryan Ellie. But
no, that dude has a solid collection.
I'm gonna hit him up to get in the chat right now.
I don't know if he has any YouTube videos of his collection. But he has the best collection I've personally seen in person outside of a store. Of classic.
It's pretty.
gaming
It's
content.
pretty crazy.
But I am also a PC gamer, and I've got hundreds of games on Steam that I'm never going to have a physical copy of, unfortunately. Would I like that? Yes. Do I understand why it's not a thing? Yes. On the same argument, just to Kyle's left, there are quite literally 300 vinyl records sitting in my office. I love physical media. Like, I love having the records. I love having everything. But I'm also subscribed to 4 different streaming services for music. It's just like
get on Twitch.
there's always going to be both.
We're live on Twitch right now.
You know, we've got, and that's why I personally think that the digital consoles, especially in a console perspective, are never going to be the one and only option because collectors are always going to be a large enough market to at least make some discs.
I think there will be. I do think there still will always be some.
Yes.
But I think the market will. So, like to kind of to your point, the vinyl market.
The vinyl market's hotter now than it's ever been. Vinyl
It died though,
but vinyl
and then
officially
it came back.
outsold CDs in 2020.
Right.
Hell yes.
Right. But what I'm
Hell
saying
yes.
is,
Yes.
Vinyl, baby.
in 19
It's the
in,
only way
in
to go.
1995 to 2010, vinyl was dead. Vinyl
It wasn't dead.
Vinyl.
And definitely not 85. You're pushing these
95. I
limits.
said 95.
Okay.
I said
Late
vinyl.
90s, early 2000s, CDs
We're king.
were king.
But I'm
CDs
saying
is where it was at.
vinyl
It
resurged.
evolved.
It came
Vinyl
back.
has
It did.
majorly resurged.
Late,
Resurged.
late 2010s,
Right.
late 2000s, 2009, 2010, vinyl started coming back, and vinyl is now, if you're a music enthusiast, if you're an audiophile, usually most audiophiles' recommended way to listen to music is going to be vinyl.
Yes.
At
so
this point in
so
time.
to my point, I think there will be one of two things that happens when it comes to video games as a form of physical media. One will be the vinyl path, which is dies and then has a resurgence of physical media. The other one will be the blockbuster path, which is dies and never comes back.
Yes.
It's going to be one or the other. And I think video gaming, because of the collectability and the market behind it, I think video games will probably see a similar path to vinyl without as significant as a dip, and
Man, I don't
less
fuck with cassettes.
less significant less
They
significant.
sound too bad for me. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gears.
I think it'll go. So I think vinyl took it was a harder dip and a higher resurgence. I think we will see that, but instead of it being a full check mark, it'll be like less down and then less up again. But I think it'll follow the trend of vinyl, in my opinion, for
Yes.
video games.
And let me just fucking give Nintendo my peace of mind real quick. Okay, as
Where's
far
your
as
phone? Where's
as
my
far as
phone?
scarcity goes, Nintendo is
John, let's go.
Nintendo is the king of manufactured scarcity. They made like 7 NES classics and then like 11 Super Nintendo classics. And they should just keep making the goddamn things. Like, period. Plain and
Cheers,
simple.
John.
Like, they literally only made a handful of both of them, and I didn't buy either of them because fuck them, basically. Like,
Were they impossible to get your hands on?
impossible to get your hands
Exactly.
on, and now people are on eBay selling them for like $900.
Dude, that's what people are doing with Xboxes and PlayStation. You go on Facebook Marketplace, you go on eBay, dude, they're selling them for $1,000 a pop.
See, the thing is though, with the PS5 and the Xbox, that's the newest thing.
Right.
With the with the Super Nintendo
That's
and the
old
NES
news.
Classic,
That's old news.
you could download, if
All that shit.
if you own the physical copies of the games, you can download the ROMs for free on the internet. Like I said, if you own the physical copies of the games, they're available everywhere, and you could build your own Super Nintendo with a RetroPie. Like, I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world to do. And Nintendo decides to make like 12 of these and have this artificial scarcity. Smitty, the fucking shitbugs are taking a dive today, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yo, Jerry and John, if you're watching, what up, boys?
It has certainly run.
Strictly about Nintendo
See,
Switch.
but that's just absolutely 100% false. The Nintendo Switch has been hard to get since release.
It was literally out of stock and not even being produced for a while there.
Yes, like
It was gone.
they've been out,
gone, dead to the world.
they are still hard to get in Japan. Like, they sell out the instant that they get new stock in Japan, because Nintendo doesn't make them fast enough. So like, I'm honestly, I don't want to be a dick, but like, I'm not sure where you're getting your information from, because that's just 100% false. Like, I remember,
Hey, what up?
right at the start of the pandemic, Gears' mom texted me. Maybe this was actually Christmas last year.
We're talking about the Switch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gears, your mom texted me and said,
He
"Hey,
said, "Hey,
like,
where can I find a Switch?"
where can I find a Switch?"
And you're like, "You can't."
"You can't."
Yeah.
And then she said,
You
can,
can't.
can I buy yours? And I said,
No, I'm glad I got another one.
yeah.
Because short
I got
story,
one
I had
too.
a Switch. I bought a Switch on release. I played Super Mario Odyssey. I wasn't a huge fan of Breath of the Wild, and I literally sold my Switch with my original Xbox White Halo Edition, got the Xbox One X, and was happy with that, and then I bought a Switch again right before they went out of stock everywhere.
Yeah.
So then right after I bought my Switch, I literally had people walk up to me when I was talking about Switch and like, "Bro, you have a Switch? Like, where can you find one?"
Yeah,
I'm like,
yes.
"You can't right now, but that's why
They
I'm
were out of
glad I
stock.
have one."
They were out of stock
for
from like
months.
November of 2019 to like
March.
July.
Yeah.
No, because I couldn't get one off.
July, yeah.
I couldn't get one off the shelf for Taylor's birthday in
Yep,
June.
Yep.
So yeah.
Because you paid extra for hers on eBay, right?
No, I have a buddy that does resale that
Oh,
sold,
right.
that sold
Your
it to me
Facebook
for
group.
stock. Yeah, he sold it to me at stock value, but still, yeah. All right, let's pivot off video games. We're talking about the video
All right,
games.
what are we gonna talk about here?
What's next? Go to the talking points that
I mean,
I've got listed.
I've got this pulled up.
Oh,
funny as
I
fuck.
love this
Jesus.
guy.
I don't even want to talk about that. Why do we have to talk about
Awesome.
This
that?
is fucking hilarious.
All right, Jesus.
Everybody, hey, we don't even have to talk about it. Everybody that is ever gonna watch this,
Jesus.
just read this headline. Take a
Read
second.
the headline,
We're
boys.
just gonna take 2 seconds.
Well, wait.
of
So
silence here.
here's the question though. Here's the question:
Oh, Jesus.
Are
I guess we're talking about it.
Oh,
are
motherfucker.
orgies gay?
all male orgies? Yeah.
No.
Oh, is it an all male orgy?
25-man orgy.
I thought that meant 25 people.
No, I think 25 men.
I think that means all men.
All gay
All
orgy.
men.
Yeah,
Wait, we
25
gotta
man
get to the
orgy.
bottom of this.
We interrupted a gangbang. Jesus, yo, we're getting banned off this shit.
No, you can say that.
A gang? I can say gangbang?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I mean, if it's all guys, then obviously it was gay. But I'm saying if
I'm
there was
glad-
25.
naked men.
I'm glad.
okay.
I'm glad my
Very
mom
gay,
and
then.
grandma are not watching this because
Okay.
they wanted the link and I did not.
Well,
send it to them.
this is a thing in the United States too. There's like all those rumors that
That's
Lindsey
so
Graham
bogus.
is like a drag queen homosexual,
Yeah.
and
Wait,
so
those are
like,
rumors?
well, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, these people exist.
And, wait. So you're saying that like those are the same as the rumors about John Travolta, right?
Wait, so I just want to.
No, what's wrong? I don't know what
pivot
John
off of
Travolta's
this,
rumors are.
So look, all I'm gonna say on this is I feel like there's not much to discuss on this, but we can pivot off of
it is a funny
this
topic though.
and talk about something that's going on. But I just want to say about this. First of all, obviously he's a
Oh,
hypocrite.
there we
Yes,
go.
that's gonna be the next topic. But obviously this guy's a hypocrite because he's what was he, anti-gay?
Yeah,
Maybe.
anti-gay.
And he was gay.
Super
Okay.
gay.
Is gay. Yeah.
So that's obviously a huge hypocritical catch there.
Yeah.
Second of all,
Does the Pope shit in the woods?
absolutely. But we were talking about this at work the other day. I got a buddy that I work with who's really about
Whiskey.
who's really about like philosophical shit and shit that went on in the past. And he was talking about how like back in like ancient Rome and shit, like there wasn't necessarily, and it had to do with this. So just to
we were talking
say,
about this drunk as fuck the other night, Kyle.
was I? Oh,
That was
you
me
were.
and you,
yeah,
dude.
you were. No, but they were talking about this at work the other day too.
Unreal.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, yo, what up, Zamora? What up, bro? So obviously Elliot Page, she came out. Sorry.
Wait, finish your thought.
No. This is going in with a thought. So a lot of people have a lot of mixed emotions about Elliot Page, his being obviously now Elliot, and Donnelly and I were talking about this the other day. Years and years and years and years ago, there wasn't any really like gender. Like it was obviously there was gender. Like there was different people, but
some people had dicks and some people had vaginas.
Yes.
But everybody was fucking.
and yeah, everyone was fucking everyone and everything. Like
So basically, what Kyle and I were talking about. Fuck.
Ryan Nelly, what up?
What's good, everybody that's commenting? Basically, what I was saying is that Roman times, ancient Rome, before Christianity, if you wanted, you were probably married or such to. If you were a guy, you probably had a woman in your life that was your wife, and you lived with her, and she had your babies, and ideally you were in love with her. But you also sucked, fucked, and rode every other person that you
Anything.
came in contact with, and that's just how it was.
Mhm.
You went to the gym, you worked out, and then you went to the bathhouse, and you sucked 3 guys off, and 2 of them fucked you in the ass, and then you went home to your wife, and she was sleeping with 2 or 3 other women and a guy,
Right.
and everybody was just getting it on.
What's everyone's thoughts about this? Like, I honestly want to know. I don't even care. Like, you can be cool with this. You can not be cool with this. I want to know everyone's thoughts on Elliot Page. Like, it's honestly just intriguing to me. Like, I support it. Like, honestly, fuck it at this point. Like, the place we're at in time and in the U.S., everyone should be able to do whatever the fuck they want to
have
do.
either-
I just
And
wish
I don't have a problem with
people
it.
didn't care. Like,
Verde, what's your opinion, dog?
I personally wish it wasn't news. I wish Elliot could have woken up
Right.
the other day
Right.
and was just like, hey, I'm Elliot now. And everybody was just like,
Cool.
okay,
Cool.
I don't care.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't care. I don't care.
I don't,
I am curious though. Have you guys seen the show?
No, I've never seen the
Have
show.
you seen it?
I've not seen Umbrella Academy. I heard it's really good. And Johnny, the story is that, so don't kill me for saying this. Obviously, I've read a lot about this and I've done a lot of research. It's called dead naming if you use a transgender's previous name.
Yeah.
But Elliot Page was previously Ellen Page. Okay,
Yeah.
obviously everyone knew her from Juno. She was in Inception, one of
Yeah.
my favorite movies of all time. And she has always pretty much been a lesbian. Like shortly after Juno, in between the time, I think it was in between the time of Juno and Inception, she came out as lesbian, and she was a lesbian for a long time. Okay, and then she came out recently, like a week ago,
last week, yeah,
as Elliot Page, said she's transgendered, and now she is a he and he is Elliot Page. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now that is where we're at, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say about this, and I honestly think to do anything but support it is detrimental to our progress as a country.
So
I agree, but I also think to do anything besides not care at all is also detrimental. Like,
I agree.
You don't need to support it, and you certainly don't need to denounce it. Just say okay and move on.
Right.
It doesn't need to be a goddamn news article.
Yeah.
Because
the problem is, the reason why it's a news article is because he is so well known.
Yeah, popular.
That is why it's a celebrity.
But
it's not just any person.
So, but to me, it's like I don't even know who he is. I've never seen Juno.
Well, I mean that's
a
you thing though.
What role was he in?
So the
Co-star.
reason in Juno.
Oh.
In Juno, at the time, she was a pregnant teen basically.
Okay.
And for whatever reason,
she's the co-star and she was the co-star in Juno.
Right.
And Juno is like one of those movies that it's got a cult following.
It defined an era.
Yeah, like Juno is insanely well respected and loved.
Okay, I've actually never seen it.
You should watch it. It is a really, really good movie. But
Verde, why people are bitching is because so many people disagree.
Inception obviously is also an all-time top tier fucking movie too.
He didn't have a huge role in that, but it still was.
I'm curious though, because from what I understand, I've not seen this show Umbrella Academy, but I've heard it's very, very good, and it's not over.
No,
but
it's recurring. So I'm curious. I'm just curious what his new role is going to be.
No, so it's not a new role.
No,
Elliot
is
going to continue to play a female character,
and that's a thing
in the show.
See,
right.
That's another topic.
So that's curious to me.
But who cares?
No, but this is the thing, and I agree. So there's basically two stances with transgender people going forward in Hollywood. Okay, those two stances are, yeah, hey, you're right, hell yeah, dude. For transgender people going forward, there's a stance. One stance is that they can play any role. Okay, so if you're transgendered, you can play a guy or a girl. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ryan. I do agree with that. I don't want to make it sound like I don't support people doing what they want to do. So Ryan,
exactly. Right. Okay. So, but this is the problem. There's another stance, and I forget who it was. I'm sorry. I forget who exactly the celebrity was. But another celebrity who is a lesbian, she said that she will only play lesbian roles going forward. And see, the problem with that is other celebrities came out and said, all right, well, that's a slippery slope. Because then, if Hollywood attaches to that way of doing things, then whoever you are in real life is going to be who you're going to have to play.
See, but...
see, that's a problem, and I know exactly what you're going to say. It's acting.
With my experience...
It's acting. You're playing people who you're not.
I lived 3 years in Los Angeles auditioning for roles. Granted, I didn't get any roles, but I was in the environment. I took classes. I lived the life of an actor, an unpaid, workless actor, but regardless. And...
I agree, Ryan.
I for sure. Let me read Ryan's comment before I continue.
Go ahead.
He says, celebrities make big statements / reveals like this because they have an impressionable audience. So he may have done this to send a positive message to a lot of people to say, it's okay.
Right.
And I am for that.
Mm-hmm.
And my hang up is that I wish it didn't have to be said that it's okay.
Right.
I wish it just was.
We're just not in that time yet.
We're not there yet.
There's still so many radical, and unfortunately, don't get me wrong, if you're a Christian, if you have faith with the Christian religion and you love God, I don't take that away from you. There's nothing wrong with that. I would like to say I'm a Christian, but there's too many radical Christians that think you're going to go to hell if you're gay. You're going to go to hell if you do anything but follow the religion to a T.
So here this is what I want to talk about. Living in Los Angeles, there's already... Let me use a very, very specific example. If anybody knows who Matt Bronner is, I want to make sure this is actually his name. He played Neil Caffrey in White Collar.
Okay.
Neil Caffrey, actor. I just want to confirm that I'm saying his
While
name
you're looking that up, to me,
yes, Matt Bomer.
I agree with Donnelly in the sense that I feel like I don't like people shouldn't care.
So
Right.
So basically, have you guys seen White Collar?
No.
Neil Caffrey, the character in White Collar, is this like con man that gets hired by the government to con other con mans for the government.
Okay.
He's like a womanizer, like he's like the epitome of like sexy man that gets laid all the time.
Right.
Okay.
Matt Bomer is the gayest motherfucker around.
Isn't that how what's his name is from How I Met Your Mother too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Right.
What's his name?
I see a headline here. September
NPH,
14th.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris.
September 14, 20. Matt Bomer says he lost roles since coming out as gay. And see, this is an issue with that.
That was what I was trying to lead to with,
I could
with this.
see, and this is the thing. I can see where Hollywood would be like, all right, well, like, we can't cast him as this because unfortunately, with the political climate that is, if a well-known actor comes out as gay, then some people, regardless of who they're playing in a role, are not going to be able to see past them as being gay.
Fuck those people to hell.
Well, exactly, and I agree, but it's still how it is. Like, that is still a case.
And
so it's like, if that guy, like you said, if he's the ladies' man, if he's getting all these women, some people are going to be like, oh, well, like, this show is bullshit because
but
he's
all
gay
shows
as fuck.
are bullshit.
Exactly, and I agree with that. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just playing devil's advocate as to say who
like,
these people are.
And Geers gave the classic example of that. Neil Patrick Harris has always been out of the closet, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And he always plays sexy womanizers.
Right.
Yeah,
he's a good ass actor, and he's awesome. Like,
there's
who
also
cares?
so 2 points here. So the first one that kind of to what Kyle was saying is people get when you hire somebody, right, as an actor.
Oh, what the fuck, Johnny? Did that actually
I
happen?
don't know that story. I've never seen that show.
I'm a
I didn't-
huge
what is
fan
it?
of
What
13
happens?
Reasons Why. So did that actually happen? What the fuck?
Give me a TLDW.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because people can't.
13 Reasons Why, to summarize the whole show, it's a show about this girl, Hannah Baker, who goes to a new school, makes friends with a couple people, and one of them is the most popular guy in high school, gets raped by him, and then basically kills herself, and releases 13 tapes to all these people that she basically says, this is how you hurt me, and you didn't help me in the end, and this is why I'm dead. The main character is her and Clay Jensen. And basically, I guess Johnny is saying that Bryce Hall, the actor, not Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall is a fucking YouTuber. Bryce, I forget his last name in the show. He, in real life, the actor who played him got death threats and shit. And that's another thing that's fucked up. Like, these people are just crazy if they're doing that.
Yes,
like these people are mentally unstable.
Those people are legitimately ill.
Yeah.
And that's a completely different issue.
Exactly.
Like, that's a completely different
That's
issue.
crazy. But no, go on. Hey, and Zamora, yeah, hopefully I beat Gears' ass, but who knows?
So it's close. It's what I've kind of been peeking at. You're at like 120
Let's
projected.
get
I'm at
it.
123.
But to close on Elliot, I feel like all three of us, I can summarize for all of us.
Right.
We're glad that he's doing whatever he wants.
Fuck yeah.
And cool, good.
Fuck yeah.
I hope literally everybody continues to do whatever the fuck they want unless they want to rape people or children.
Or fucking just kill people for no reason.
Yeah, like those are pretty much my three lines.
And
Don't murder people,
Yeah.
don't rape children, and don't rape adults.
If you're committing crimes, it's wrong.
Yeah. So I'm just curious what this is going
Don't
to mean
commit crimes, kids.
for the current role that he's in with Umbrella Academy.
The one article that I read said that Elliot is going to continue to play a female role in Umbrella.
Which makes sense.
And the producers of the show are good with that.
And
they know that he is a talented actor.
Yeah.
And whatever role that he's going to portray on the screen is going to be accurate for that role.
Right.
But to me, it then
Period.
goes,
Like-
and I agree with that. But what I'm saying is,
But here's the thing. if they lose viewers of the show because of their decisions, fuck those people. I hope they die.
Yeah, those people are just bigots.
Yeah,
Right, but you have to-
like, fuck them.
This is the issue.
They're relics, and this world doesn't need them anymore.
This is the issue though
Like-
that I have with, and this has always been my issue with the trans rights movement and the
Okay.
trans movement as a whole. To me, especially when it comes to celebrity, right? So, but just general people too.
Oh no shit.
So, Elliot, for the last however long,
Like
has been
15 years.
15 years, sure,
20 years,
has
whatever.
been in the public eye as Ellen Page, and has this growing as somebody who's like not a household name per se, but like a name that people know,
A popular actress.
a popularized act, and then like we sat here, not
For the
really.
record, like, I'm pretty sure that word is not a thing anymore.
Really?
I think it's just actor now.
No
But-
shit.
Actress, well, it's still a word.
Whatever.
So, but what you just did is still my exact issue,
But
and you just jumped through a ton of hoops describing
Yeah.
this person,
Right.
Yeah.
And to me,
Yeah.
the issue that I have
Is
is
that
like,
somebody's gonna get insulted by something that you said today?
Right.
But Elliot sure as fuck isn't.
Maybe.
but even
You don't know.
even if they did, like, even if we sat here and we were like, she was the co-star in Juno and she was
But
the
at,
fucking
at the
person,
time, that is historically
Right.
accurate.
Exactly.
but that's what I'm saying is like there's so many hoops to jump through and there's so much bullshit
Right.
that it drives me crazy. The whole misgendering and dead naming and pronoun controversy, like all of that stuff to me
I agree,
is
Johnny.
all fucking nonsense.
It is.
And
it
just-
is to an extent.
Like, okay, let's do this for example, right?
So here's how I feel about it. If I'm going to insult somebody that is directly affected by it, I want to know why they're insulted so I can change. If I'm going to insult somebody that's not directly affected, fuck them. I don't
But
care.
just don't get insulted. Because okay,
But no, it's not
let's
that
use
easy.
let's
It's
use
not
this
that easy.
example though. Okay.
It's not.
Let's say we go to the 10-year high school reunion, right? And somebody went to high school with that was a girl, transitioned, but like none of us really know this person,
Yeah.
right? And then we go and we're like, oh, like what about, oh, you used to be friends with this person, and they go, well, actually, he's this now.
Yeah.
That's his name now, and we go, and that's really offensive that you would, and be like,
It's
I don't
not-
fucking know that guy.
Yeah, it's not
And-
offensive.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
But, like,
why
but
is it
that's the
on the
second-
why is it on the people
It's
to?
not. It's not. And that's
It
where I was having
is
the
though.
conversation.
That's what I'm saying. In the trans movement, it is. It's on
But
the
you're
other party to
you're-
educate themselves
you're
and
talking about a very fringe, like, social justice warrior perspective of
Right.
the actual issue,
Yeah.
and that's where it brings back to
That
you
that's
said
like the extremist
you
version of
you
it.
very specifically said yourself that you're talking to somebody that knows somebody who has transitioned.
right.
so
well,
they know.
assumably, if you are talking to the person, it's
But no,
evident
listen,
that they've
listen,
transitioned.
No, listen. You're talking to somebody at a high school reunion, and this person themselves has not transitioned, but a mutual person that you both know has transitioned, and you come up in contact, and you're like, hey, I remember you.
Whatever happened to so and so or
and then,
whatever.
And then the person that you're talking to is offended for that person. That person can go to hell.
But what if you're talking to the person and you have no fucking idea? Like, looking at this picture we have, I don't know if it's on the screen, like, looking at this picture, there's really no difference in this picture between who she was 2 days ago.
See, here's my line.
So if I were to go up to being like, oh my God, Ellen, I'm such a huge fan of yours.
and she was pissed
And she
about
was
that,
like, yo, like, I'm Elliot now. Did you not hear? And I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, are you crazy? Like,
if you didn't hear and he was still pissed, fuck him.
right,
If
but
you did hear and you still chose to call him Ellen, then
Right.
fuck you.
right, but that's what I'm saying is like there just should be more. There just needs to be less
Exactly.
rigidness
That's what I'm talking about.
to this that I feel like
There
people get
is-
so defensive about this topic and
But
like.
the only people that get so defensive are the 1%. Like the rational people, like
But I don't think so because even when you hear shit about like Dave Chappelle, when Dave Chappelle made those jokes like the jokes about trans people in his special, and he caught a bunch of slack and bullshit about it, and it's like, what makes you immune to being joked on?
nothing. No.
Right.
But like
But it's not the 1%. It's people
but
are
that's not
actually
true.
being
95% of trans people are like, yeah, everyone can get joked on. Joke on me too. My life's a fucking joke.
But I don't think that. I
But-
don't agree with that. I
but
don't think
how
that's
it
the
is.
percentage.
Living in Los Angeles for 3 years, living in the LGBTQ community, like having very close friends of all persuasions, nobody actually cares besides the people that care the most and are vocal about it.
Well, that's always the case, right? 5% are vocal for the
Yes.
other 95%.
And
But
that's and you living in this Midwest bubble, the only thing that you're involved with this is on the internet, and the people on the internet suck because they're loud and annoying and vocal.
yeah, but it's still, to me, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. The trans rights movement it's very not well led to me.
Like for example, I was at a party one time, and I was talking to a non-binary person.
Okay.
They want to be referred to as they,
Okay.
and I didn't know that at the time. In the conversation, I was and this was literally my introduction.
When you met them, sure.
No, this was not only my introduction to this person, but my introduction to non-binary people in person. At the time, I didn't know that there were humans that wanted to be referred to as a they, them, and not a male nor a female. And I met this person, I met them, and I referred to them as a her in conversation, and they very passively said, "Hey, I'm not a her."
Okay.
And I said, "Oh, sorry." And I almost said she because I'm still learning. I said, and they said, "Hey, I'm not a her. Call me they and them." I said, "Excuse me," and they said, "I'm non-binary. I'm not a her."
Okay.
And I said, "Okay, so just it's always they and them." And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, easy." And they were like, "Yeah." And that was it. And we just kept on with the conversation.
Right.
And
But
I just like
you have to also
And
also be able to sit here and recognize how fucking ridiculous that is.
but who cares?
But right.
It's
but
just
it is ridiculous.
But I don't care. It's just
I don't care either, but like
it's just one different word in my vernacular to make a person feel better about their existence.
but it's still ridiculous.
But I don't care.
But you don't have to care, and I don't care either. But you
to
still
them-
have to address the ridiculousness of the conversation we're even having.
But to them, it wasn't ridiculous.
But-
this person didn't feel like a man and didn't feel like a woman and wanted to be neither, and they are neither.
But see,
So
that's ridiculous
my
too.
my question on this is, and don't get me wrong, don't get me blown up in the fucking chat here if anyone's fucking going crazy about this shit. This is my question. I'm kind of tiptoeing the line of Gears and you, Donnelly. Like, when does this come into the question? And I know this question is fucking thrown around all the time. And like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm just asking the tough questions. And please, anyone in the chat, if you're fucking hearing this, let me know your thoughts. When does this come into the question of mental health? When does this come into the question of what's actual and what is fantasy?
I also
When does this come
agree with that
into-
fully.
All of it.
But
as somebody that is extremely mentally unhealthy,
Right.
I have no right to question somebody else's mental
well,
health.
it's not the
and
question
their
of
pursuit of healthiness.
it's not the question of you having the right to it or not. It's just the question of if it's at. See, this is my thing.
Like
I
there's
don't have
there's
a
a part
problem-
of there's a point where you are encouraging, and there's a point when you're accepting, and there's a point where you have to be like
Exactly,
you're
Johnny.
mentally unwell.
Right.
And to
I agree
me,
with that.
I think that like I'm
See, what
able
if-
to distinguish the difference between like gender and sexuality, right? So like to me, your gender is a biological assignment to you at birth, right? So you're given this evolutionary assignment that says you are to continue reproducing, based on this, and it's a coin flip.
I feel
You're
like
either
that's a
this or
dated
that.
view.
But
see,
no, it
it's-
isn't, because
it's
your
not.
sexuality to me is that you can do with that whatever the fuck you want. Like nobody's forcing you to have kids. Nobody's
so
forcing
if
you
you
to
wanna cut your
have.
dick off and have a vagina,
Sure,
have one.
but
Yeah.
but at some
Who
point,
cares?
no, but at some point, you have to be able to be like, I'm the fucking crazy person in this situation, not that the people who can't wrap their head around it are the bad people. Like, if you,
I
to
think-
me,
I
to me
think-
personally,
I think you're
I
trying to put too
actually
much
do.
blame.
I'm not blaming. I'm
No,
not
I
blaming.
don't
What
think
I'm
so
saying
either.
is, I think, regardless of your mental health and your feelings of of self, I think it's crazy for somebody to cut their dick off and put a vagina. I think that's crazy. But I also think it's a lot of things are crazy.
Yes.
But to me, it goes. I don't care that they're doing it. To me, it's just like, oh, that's some crazy shit. Like, why is it on the other to be accepting of what is crazy? And then, but I also understand that at some point this was also the general or the general consensus about the gay community. But I think that at some point there's a line, and to me it's like when you're born a certain way and you feel another way, like the distinction there is not that you feel the right way and to alter how you're born. To me, I often see that your mental health is wrong and you were born the way, like that's just how I see it.
See,
and
so
and I think that and this will kind of be my last point. I think that like that, and that to me, I wouldn't care so much, and that's why I don't really care. That's why like I'm so accepting of, the gay community, lesbian community, that type of thing to me is fine. But I think this is particularly more dangerous because of the impact it has specifically on teenaged children.
do you think?
And so I just don't, I
No,
can't
no,
wrap my head around it fully.
Don't restate your opinion again because you have this
I want to
tendency.
hear. I want to hear what you have to say, Donnelly. Go ahead.
So, do you think it's more dangerous to say? Do you think it's more dangerous to let people cut their dicks off or to have dicks implanted, or do you think it's more dangerous to say, "Hey, you are mentally unwell. Take these pills to be normal"?
But see, this is the thing, and let me just go straight at this. I just question what is dangerous.
We're getting close to a wrap up here, by the way.
All right, for sure.
Yeah, like
I just
25
question
minutes.
what's dangerous, like what you conceive dangerous, and what's not. Like, this is the thing. Go back to what Gears said. When you're like the fact that people are trying to override biology is kind of wild to me. Like,
But like we've
And-
been trying to override biology for the entire existence of humanity.
but not necessarily.
Yes, dude, we wouldn't have corn or
No,
apples.
but I'm
or
talking
oranges.
about. I'm talking about with human genetics. Like, so if there's two genders.
So you think sperm banks shouldn't exist? You think women
No.
shouldn't be able to go to the sperm bank and say, hey, like this sperm came from this guy.
No,
with
but
this
I
hair
also-
color, this
I
eye
don't
color,
think
and
that
this weight.
people-
No, but that's different.
I don't
But
think people
why?
should be able to. I don't think people shouldn't be able to do this either. I think you should be able to do it. To me,
this
it's
is
the
what I was trying
narrative
to pinpoint.
behind it that
This is
I
what I was
dis-
trying to pinpoint. Let me
Sorry, I cut you off.
rephrase. No, it's fine. Let me rephrase what I'm trying to say. All I'm trying to say is I don't have a problem with the people who genuinely wake up in a female's body and think, fuck, like I feel like a guy. Like I genuinely feel like a guy. Like if I woke up every day and thought, fuck, I feel feminine as fuck. And if I was like, I'm not gay, I like girls, but I feel like, or I'm not like, if I was like, I'm not gay, but I feel like I am a girl. Like I like guys.
Mhm.
I would not have a problem with that. But it's the people that I feel like are unsure. Like if it's the people who aren't truly there, if that makes sense.
And then that leads to where I believe
yeah.
that our nation's support blanket needs to be bigger. We need universal health care. We need understanding and acceptance of mental issues, and we need treatment for these mental issues.
But see,
because we need to figure out who is unwell and who really Like there are like, so in my 25 years of existence, I have literally seen things happen with my own eyes
Right.
that cannot happen. You know, what I've been told that can't happen. So basically, in my mind, anything can fucking happen.
Right.
If I have seen things that can't happen, I have no place to judge what's going on in somebody else's head.
Right.
And whether or not that person is fully mentally clear and 100% sane and healthy, or they are unwell and sick, it's not up for me to decide, but it is up for me to promote the well-being of these people in both ways.
But see, that's what I mean. The only thing I'm trying to say is that I am just trying to promote, and I think everyone should try to promote well-being.
Yes.
So, but like Gear said, with this, with Elliot, and with anyone, it's hard for people who know they are straight to see these other people tiptoeing these lines that may or may not promote people to be unwell.
So,
and that is my question. It's like people like this coming out.
Let me play devil's advocate on that question.
If there's people that are genuinely unwell, genuinely mentally ill, and they are actually like, could you imagine like if you're actually a straight male and you have something going on in your life where like say you're just like down on your luck, like you can never get a fucking girlfriend, like you're not good with girls.
Maybe I'm a woman.
And you're like, you know what? Fuck this. Like
I'm a woman.
I must be a woman then.
So that's what I mean.
And you say you actually go through it all. Say you transition to a female. You
That,
get the surgery.
And that's why we need.
And then what if sometime down the road you're like, wait a minute, why the fuck did I do this?
And that's why we need better mental health care.
And that's why that's also kind of in tandem with the argument that the trans movement is like disproportionately affecting teenage females,
Exactly.
especially in groups,
Yes.
because they feel like they're out of the circle or otherly, and to them they're corresponding that with, well, maybe I'm a guy.
Yes.
But I just struggle with this because to me it's hard for me to distinguish between like something as being masculine or feminine. Oops, sorry, I hit my mic. Like in the sense of like a dress being feminine and flowers being feminine, and like a truck and the color blue being masculine, right?
Like pink is for girls and
sure, like,
other colors
and
are for
so
guys,
to
right.
me, I feel like the whole gender dysphoria thing is more of a societal. It's
a societal concept.
I don't know what it is. I can't wrap my head around it, but I feel like we're living in this gray.
Yes.
But there needs to at some point be a line drawn as far as like what we can accept as like rational thinking.
I disagree.
And to me, as a community, like, and if somebody wants to do something that we've deemed irrational, they should be allowed to do so. But I just think that, I don't know, to me there's just something I can't, and there's a lot to this, right? There's the high suicide rates, there's the impact on people like under the age of 18. There's a lot to it to me, but like at some point I just wonder, like, I don't think we're done combing out the trans movement.
I think all of these negatives that you have created about the trans movement are only negatives because the opposition of the movement exists.
So you think
the opposition of the movement, aka conservative Republicans, are the reason that our nation has poor health care, has poor understanding of mental health issues, has poor education, has a huge wealth disparity.
Yeah.
If our nation had great health care, had no wealth disparity, had fucking education well balanced, and had a better understanding of mental health issues, the people that are legitimately transgender would just be transgender, and the people that are sick and mentally unhealthy would get help.
I think what you're saying though.
I feel like that's such an assumption though.
No,
like,
it's not.
But it is though.
How?
Because we don't know if
We
that
don't
would
know
be the
that
case
because
or
what you're
not.
saying,
We don't
Donnelly,
know,
is
like, ideally, see, like, this is the thing. What your statement you just made, it's like, in a perfect world, that would be the case. But it's not a perfect world. We could have all those systems in place, but there would still be the outliers that even if there was that healthcare, they wouldn't get it because they were ashamed. They wouldn't get it because they were embarrassed. They wouldn't get it because of their own personal reasons.
But those things, all of those personal reasons, are limited by the societal pressures that Republicans have created over the last 30 years.
But you don't
saying that straight white people are normal, and if you're not a straight white person, you're abnormal.
Wait, but Donnelly, here's what I'm saying. Then I want to get off this topic. I want to go to the next topic because I want to touch on the last thing I have on here before we have to be done. But what I'm saying is, you're saying that trans people are killing themselves at a disproportionately high rate because they're not accepted by the society.
No, that's not
right.
what I'm saying.
Well,
that's not what I'm saying at all.
What are you saying then?
I'm saying that trans people are killing themselves at a disproportionately high rate because a disproportionately high rate of mentally ill and unstable people think in the current climate that they are trans,
and they're not. Okay.
So to me, then, see, I think that anybody under any circumstance that kills himself should be deemed mentally unwell. Obviously.
So coming from somebody that, in your definition, is mentally unwell.
Yeah.
I have thought about and attempted to kill myself more than once.
Right.
And I don't think I'm transgender. I am a male.
Yes.
I like my dick and balls.
Mm-hmm.
But in my
likes his dick and balls, ladies and gentlemen. Likes his dick and balls.
At the lowest point of my life, if there was a group of people that said, "Hey, like don't kill yourself, be a woman instead," I might have said, "All right, maybe."
Like,
and that to me, that's what I'm saying is the issue. Like, I just think that there's lines that are being, like, we're living in some sort of weird middle of the Venn diagram.
Yes.
In what is, and I think we need to really hash out as a society what is and isn't mental health and, like, true, I think, like, gender dysphoria that leads to transitioning
this
genders.
Is my last question
right?
on this topic. Should there be, just to preface, I think yes, there should be, but should there be the word or the phrase or the idea of normalcy? Like,
no.
Should there be normal?
No.
You
but
say
they're
no?
they're like, pushing it as much as
it depends on what is normal. It is normal waking up and living in society and your actions not causing somebody else to not be able to have their actions. Normal. If normal is considered waking up and making a decision that most people don't agree with, even though it doesn't affect them, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
So
I agree with that.
let's move on to the next topic. But
I gotta pee. I'm closing this tab.
I want to talk about this, and you can. All right. So is this playing on the? Cool. This is okay.
All right, for sure.
All right. So I got some slack. This is kind of it's an alternate lane
I
of
hear
the.
about this
This
I
is
got
more
some
gender
feelings
equality.
about this.
Probably getting my mic here.
Okay. So
Let's go.
So this girl, Sarah Fuller, she's the first woman to play in a Power 5 college football game.
Thoughts on this in the chat, Sarah Fuller?
Yeah. So this was last weekend. She kicked off
Who's she
for
kicking for?
Vanderbilt.
Oh, Vanderbilt. Okay.
I caught some slack on the internet for
Wow,
kind of poking fun at this girl.
What did you say?
I said I hope. I think I hope or I pray that there's a situation where she's required to make a tackle.
See, this is my problem, and I already know everything I have to say about females and male predominant. I'm not going to say male only because obviously
not male only. Yeah,
she is a female playing a male predominant sport. But all I'm going to say is that, and this will go back to biology, males are usually bigger and stronger than females. Not in every case, but usually. If you take the top male specimen and the top female specimen, the male specimen will be stronger than the female.
Let's put it this way. I can speak with almost absolute certainty that every male on the Vanderbilt football team is stronger, bigger, and in every metric than she is.
Almost without a doubt.
With almost without a doubt.
Almost
I mean,
without a doubt.
unless they have another kicker,
unless
or punter,
there's like a team manager who doesn't actually suit up.
right? Unless the punter.
I'm sorry
is,
to say, but like,
right.
it's just the truth. And
So
like,
I caught some slack for this on the internet on Twitter because I said I was joking when I said I hope there's a tackle
Exactly,
situation,
Johnny.
right? Where she's forced to actually play the sport.
right.
But I thought that it was, to me, okay, so for record, Vanderbilt is 0 whatever. They haven't won a game all season. They get blown out almost every fucking game. They're terrible in the SEC. I don't know exactly what happened to the kicker that they had for the last 7 games.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's on the COVID list. I don't know if he got hurt. I have no idea. But basically, and they don't have a men's soccer team. Vanderbilt doesn't. So, to me, I said I don't think she's the most qualified person on Vanderbilt's campus to kick that football.
Okay.
And now I got a lot of slack for that because people said, "Well, what do you mean?" And I said they could have went to the men's club soccer program and found somebody that's more qualified, or they could have went to their most athletic wide receiver that is also more qualified. And this is why: if you watch the kick,
She wasn't even that good.
it's terrible.
But see, this
she kicks it to you kick off.
Isn't this an onside kick or a squib?
So I've
this
heard
is a
that.
squib, right?
I've heard that is it
people
said it was a called squib.
See, I don't
and
know
so
if this
let's
is a
watch.
squib or
So
not.
so you kick off. You kick off.
I would think the opposing team would be in a squib formation though, and it doesn't look like they are.
So you kick off from the 35. She kicked it to the opposite 35. So she kicked the ball 30 yards.
Right.
Which I'm telling you right now, I played football for a long time. I also played soccer when I was younger. If you gave me 10 warm-ups to like, okay, I got to remember how to do this, I could guarantee you I could kick it that far.
But this is the question though. Do we know? Because I don't know. By looking at this, was this a actual squib kick?
Let me put it to you.
Supposed to be.
Let me drop some football knowledge on you.
An actual kickoff.
So to me,
because if this was supposed to be an actual kickoff,
it's terrible.
Then it's awful.
Awful, right?
Awful.
And so it goes. There's 2 things here. One, what you just said. If this was supposed to be an actual kickoff and that was the best effort she gave, it's fucking terrible.
It's awful.
But I think there's something else going on here. I think that the coach called a squib kick.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's doing her job on the kickoff front. Right. Well, so she kicked it to the 35, the other team's 35, and the dude jumped on the ball because it's a fuck up. You know, it's a fuck. Squib kicks are fuck shows.
Right.
It's hard to get your hands on them. So I think the coach called that because if there was an instance where she kicked the ball off truly, she couldn't get it to the end zone, and what that means is it gives them the opportunity to put her in a position to play her position, which means she's going to maybe have to make a tackle.
She might get lit up.
So if they just say, go out there and squib kick it, we'll give them the extra 10 yards because you can't make it into the end zone, and then this is what the optic.
There's no risk of you having to make a
right,
play.
and it's all optics, right? So now we had the first girl player. We're the worst fucking team in the SEC. Let's try to get some notoriety. It'll help with recruiting, blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
To me, though, I was making the argument, jokingly for the most part, like, I don't think she's the most qualified.
This is the only one, Johnny. This is the only one.
It's the only one. She kicked
everywhere.
one. Well, this is the thing. It's the only one for a reason. They didn't score any fucking points. Their team is so bad. So she only got the kickoff at halftime because you have to kick the ball one time in a game.
It is mad sauce, bro.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. To me, and then Sartori.
It is sauce.
Sartori, the one that you said, the one that has the podcast, was like giving me shit, and then Google Amucci has been giving me a bunch of shit too. He's like, I'm like, dude, I just don't think this chick. I don't think this chick is the most qualified person to kick the football, and I have yet to be proven otherwise because I want to see her kick a field goal, kick a 40-yard field goal. I want to see her kick the ball out of the back of the end zone. If she can do that, I'd change my mind, but I just don't, and I think the reason that they did the squib kick was to keep her out of harm's way.
See,
I just
thing.
don't understand it.
I'll just give a quick.
People were so defensive, though.
I'll give
crazy.
a quick, basically breakdown of my thoughts on women playing predominantly male sports, and all I'm going to say is there was a certain someone who played football with us in high school.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, she was fine and dandy until she got lit up on a kickoff return, and she didn't play the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So all I'm gonna say is that, like I said, when Donnelly stepped out of the room, female are
I heard you guys.
usually a lot smaller than males,
Mm-hmm.
and if you put them in here with guys, they are going to get smacked. Does anyone remember? Let me just say this: does anyone remember when Brittany Griner tried to play in the NBA?
No.
Does anyone remember that?
She's played against.
No. Do you remember when she tried to play in the? She was the first female years ago, and
Yeah.
I think it's funny because I'm just remembering this. She tried to play in the NBA, okay, and she was the top scorer all through college.
She was
all
like the
through football
best,
back.
yeah.
She was the best of the best. She went into I believe she was in the WNBA for like a season and was the best of the best, okay? And she's like, you know what? I'm going to the NBA. I'm good enough. And she had size. She was huge.
Yeah, she's
For
tall
the
as fuck.
WNBA, she could just pop it right in. She could basically dunk off a one hop, easily. Okay, she got in the NBA, and she got shut down by every NBA player and left the NBA and quietly went back to the WNBA.
Yeah, she played in like the G League or whatever, and
yeah.
and she just But all I'm saying is, I would be the first person to tune in if there was like a 245 pound dyke bitch that was like just lined up
be
at middle linebacker and just crushing skulls.
Well, yeah,
Cause you
That'd be
like
awesome.
that would be awesome.
But that
I would
won't
be I would
happen.
be here for
it
it.
won't happen.
But and you know what though? Honestly, maybe it will.
maybe,
It honestly might
maybe
at some point. But this to me isn't it.
This to me is just politics.
I agree. I think it's.
This to me
I
is
just.
politics.
I think it's optics.
Yeah,
I think it's optics.
It's like saving face. It's
Yeah.
just like putting up a good game. Like
It's
putting
not,
up a
and that's the
good
thing.
face.
They're like, we're gonna lose by 40.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
just
gonna
do
have
something
the
fun.
first female kicker.
Yes, that's to me, and maybe it'll drive recruiting. Maybe somebody that's a real fucking good football player that also believes in like equal rights will be like, I want to go play on that team, and it might win them points. But I don't think it's a bad idea. I just think if you're truly looking for a hero of the movement, I don't think this is it.
I feel like if anybody.
Let's watch this kick on repeat more and more because it just I love watching it. I will just.
Me being a non-sports person.
She did keep it in bounds to her
If
credit.
anybody actually gives a shit enough about sports to care like that a woman is playing a sport and it's not man, you should turn your attentions elsewhere. Like look, like care more about anything else.
Yeah.
Like,
And I don't care
sports
that
are entertainment and a joke to placate the masses.
Right.
It's like, who gives a fuck?
I don't
Yeah.
care that she kicked off.
No,
I don't care
don't-
that she
I
did
don't-
anything.
I don't give a fuck.
I just
honestly.
and I was just making a joke on the internet and I got a little bit of slack for it, but the joke is made in the point that everybody wants to make this some sort of like hero's movement or like this hero moment of, and I can't see it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't think like this right here, this kick to this.
See, this is
This
the thing.
is what this is your
only
hero's
thing-
moment.
The only thing that I feel like that you could see here is that it happened.
And dude, she's an
But that's
ultra talented soccer player. They are the best. They're the best women's soccer team in the SEC, and she is really fucking good at goalie. She's a rock star. I wouldn't ever take it away from her. But if this is what you think is like your hero's moment for the women's movement into football, she should have kicked it out of the back of the end zone then.
Well, yeah, then it would have been like, holy shit.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
right. It would be like, damn, goddamn.
But other than that,
But-
it's just her doing it.
Or
Is
she
that-
should have,
is that it?
kicked it and ran down the fucking field and laid the fuck out of the guy who caught the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit that motherfucker with a ban.
Yeah.
Any
so
of my
Banhammer.
mods in chat, aka myself and my phone, ban this motherfucker right
who,
now.
wait, who?
Ban.
Some random mods. Where you at? I'm here.
Spam.
All right. Well, are we gonna wrap up here or what?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Let's wrap it up.
So next week, hopefully,
Let's
I'll
actually get a
this-
regular schedule going here and get
Yeah.
some fucking following, huh?
You guys gotta not get. Oh, we can just whatever. We can. So next week, I'll get that cord. We'll upgrade our video quality for sure, and
We'll get this shit popping for real.
yeah, we'll keep
Get on,
it
get
keep
on
it
the
going.
regular.
what we want to do, like I said at the beginning, but if for anybody that's still tuned in, do we still have viewers?
Yeah,
We got-
a couple viewers
okay.
out
Got
here.
4 or 5.
We want to get to a point where we do like an hour and a half ish, like between an hour and 2 hours of like this kind of structured, go through topics, talk just us, like kind of follow along with chat, but more so like try to keep it in the
I'll be right back.
in the grand scheme of things. And then we're gonna
Let's
go.
dive into this.
We're gonna go for like a live streamy post show, I guess you'd call it, like post show, post production, where we're gonna do other stuff. We might even live stream some video games, whatever we decide to do. But we wanted to play this.
So what I'm looking for, we got like 5 or so viewers. Very good chance that one of you knows us in real life. If you want to be a guest next week on the show and participate
Hit
in
us
the
up.
after show, hit any of us up. I'm looking to play this board game. This game is called Chick-a-Pig. Let me stand up.
For sure.
You show it on the camera.
Yeah, show it up close. We're trying to play.
So I picked this board game up. I'm a huge Dave Matthews fan. This game has to do
Cheers
with
to Dave.
one of his charities.
Let me see that really quick.
I'm out of whiskey myself. I would cheers to Dave.
I'm also out because I got to drive home.
Basically, I picked this game up because Dave had to do with making it, and it has to do with one of his charities that he's involved with called Chick-a-Pig, and it is either a 2 or a 4-player game, and as you can see, there are 3 of us. So we're looking for a guest next week. If you want to come through, be a guest. You can talk about whatever the fuck we're going to talk about, and
Hell
then
yeah.
for the after show, looking to play some Chick-a-Pig. I don't know anything about the game besides the fact that it has to do with Dave. Neither do these 2 assholes.
Yeah,
so we're
we'll
just
literally
gonna-
learn it on the
we're,
fly.
We're gonna go
Learn
on the fly,
and
open it
get
up.
it done.
Yeah, play some games, board games.
We're also in the midst of a Baldur's Gate playthrough.
Yes.
On this channel.
Check that out. I don't fuck with that shit, but hey, they do.
We didn't get very far, and then the new WoW release, so we've kind of put it on the back burner. But we're gonna play more of that too on this channel. And if you are a graphics designer, or if you know anybody that's a graphics designer that would like to do some work, put them in contact with one of us. We'd like to get
Let
some
us
stuff
know.
done.
Kyle and I are broke,
Um,
but Geers has some money.
I
so,
have a
like,
little bit of money.
I have a little bit of money, not really, but I'll
Um,
waste money that I don't have. So hit us up.
And I don't
do
think
that
I don't
too.
think anything that we're looking for is going to be too expensive. So if they're looking to do, we basically just want to get a logo and like a banner done for the show for the YouTube and the Twitch.
Johnny's got somebody.
So just
Potentially.
Johnny,
Yeah, hit us up. On
yeah,
Discord.
hit me
You're
like
in
you
the
know how to
Discord.
contact me. So put us in contact. We'll go from there. I obviously can go through my dad too. So well, I don't know if anybody knows that, but
Should,
well,
we,
No.
should we put the
we'll
Discord
figure it
link
out.
in here? Any viewers in chat? I can put my Discord, our Discord.
Yeah,
The
so-
Cellar Discord.
that'll be it.
Become a cellar dweller. Hop
Yeah,
on.
and then
I'll
I
copy this link right now. Put it in chat.
Cellar dwellers for life.
also we're trying to figure out how to get a theme song.
I
Right,
mean,
so we got to get the rights to a song.
or we can
Nah,
just make
we
one.
can make
like,
one.
that's-
Yeah,
that's
we
the
can
Yeah,
make
easy
hey,
one,
that's
but-
the other thing. I just want to put this out there. Hopefully, music coming soon from
Yeah.
somebody here. Multiple of us here, hopefully. So-
Join our Discord. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Check
like
it
all
out.
our shit.
Real quick
Uh,
plug for myself. Any musicians looking to get recorded, I am currently at the learning stages of production. And what that means for you is that I'll bring you into this fucking studio.
Low
and record-
rates.
I'll record you for free right now.
That-
I currently know so little that I'll bring you in here if you're willing to put up with some technical difficulties and we can both learn.
That means low rates, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, come through, get recorded. We can get you posted anywhere that you can post audio. I've got all the rights to post things places. I've got all the equipment. Hit us up. You got the Discord link. It's the best place to reach any of us at any time. If you join the Discord, you won't have text chat immediately, but we get notifications as officers to give you permissions for the chat.
Right.
So, yeah.
Follow us on social media. Mark Geers everywhere. Instagram, Twitter. Don't add me on Facebook. I don't use that shit. You can add me on Snapchat there. You can follow me on, I think my YouTube is also still that. So follow us. Give us some love.
Hell yeah.
Post this anywhere you feel comfortable to. We'll have a
to
YouTube
any of
video
my boys
Tuesday,
that
right?
tuned in, thanks for
Tu-
stopping by.
This will be available on our YouTube.
YouTube video on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
YouTube links will be on the Discord.
With that, I got a piece, so I'm out.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks, everybody.
Later.
Oh, Gears is actually like leaving on the spot. Oh.